Alright, hello everyone. Welcome, chat, to a Victoria 3 related stream where we're going to cover a Paradox gameplay stream of their upcoming DLC. Now hold on a second while I introduce the Discord thing. Get my chat on the screen, put on the Discord. I am joined by Piechucker Reaction. Hello.
Hello everyone. You will have my live reaction to this upcoming stream. G'day everyone.
Yeah, hello. So welcome to chat, and yeah, we have a great, very fun sort of impromptu stream that I wasn't necessarily planning until yesterday. When Paradox announced via, I think, Twitter, I first heard about it, that they're going to be doing a gameplay stream of their upcoming DLC, which comes out on the 22nd of May, known as Voice of the People. I had heard about the DLC, but they only announced their gameplay stream yesterday, and I have hastily, it's absolutely mandatory that I cover this. It's just, I have to do it. And I have to bring on my legendary friend and co-host Piechucker as well.
Legendary, I love that. Yeah, no, Voice of the People, I mean, it's just like the jokes writing themselves already, you know what I mean?
Wait. Palaya, thank you for 10 months of membership. Palaya, one of my few remaining loyal YouTube members, has been holding out until my next YouTube stream to renew the membership. So thanks, Palaya. Good to see you again. Let me just confirm. I have Paradox's stream up here in the background. Their stream begins at 1/2 the hour, whatever the time zone is for you. In 27 minutes, their stream should begin, according to their thing. And we've started early because I like to get everything prepared and do a bit of early initial discussion and analysis of what's going on before we get into it. So that gives us a nice breathing space. I always like to do that. So let me just turn that off for now. Actually, no, we'll leave it on and I'll turn the intro text off. Yeah, so I was just saying to Piechucker before we started the stream how I've been sort of blindsided by this. Paradox announced their gameplay stream only yesterday. So I had been planning to do an open TTD stream over on my Twitch today, which has now been moved to Friday, or Saturday morning in New Zealand. What do you think of all that, Piechucker?
I mean, yeah, it's a bit sacrilegious having to move the open TTD, but Paradox has done this to us with the very sudden, out of the blue announcement.
I know, and yeah, so if you like open TTD, then you can watch my live streams of that, which happen regularly, almost every week. The annoying thing about this is that I had sort of been intending to have a weekly schedule of open TTD on Wednesdays, and then Paradox does this just with the sole purpose of ruining my schedule. They knew I would cover their stream, so that's why they did it. There's no doubt about that. They only did that to put me off my schedule.
100%.
But anyway, so the last thing we did a coverage of Paradox's live announcement stream where they announced EU4 DLC, CK3 DLC, City Skylines 2, and their fucking Sims game, whatever that's called. When even was that stream?
It's a very good question. Somebody has to have the answer. If I'm feeling 2 months would be my guess. 2 months?
I'm saying it was in February. If someone can go and just look at the date of when that one happened, because I was, just preparing this stream, I was like, oh, I'm going back onto a YouTube stream because it's a discussion stream and that's how I arrange things. And I was thinking, God, I haven't done a YouTube stream for ages. I'm getting all the technical stuff set up. I'm going, what? I've forgotten everything about YouTube streaming. Someone in the chat says a month ago.
March 7th.
March 7th. It's a month,
Yeah.
but we're well into April. So it's like a month and 2/3, to be fair.
Yeah. A sniff away from 2 months. I think that's points.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a asterisk show do you
On a
think
scale
this DLC is
from
going
1
to
to 10,
be?
how much of a shit show do you think this DLC is going to be from Duper Da?
Me and Piechucker were sort of talking about that for the stream as well. Thank you very much, Duper Da, for your $20 super chat. First of all, we do encourage super chats to support my channel and my content and all that. I greatly appreciate them. And what we'll do is answer the super chats whenever we have an opportunity, as soon as we can. This doesn't necessarily mean at the end of the stream. whenever there's like a quiet moment on the Paradox stream, and of course this intro is the perfect time to answer them, we'll answer them as soon as possible. I have a separate window where I'll have all the super chats. We'll get them all answered. But yeah, thank you. So there's two elements to this, actually, about the shit show. Will the DLC itself be a shit show? And more pressingly, will their stream be a shit show? So I think the DLC, my opinions of the DLC, you can just predict what my opinions of the DLC are going to be without me even saying them. I think the DLC is just pure useless guff. It's nonsense, and it's just stuff that could be modded in, while they have the urgent pressing matter of fixing the game and actually fixing making a coherent war system. They're just putting this shit out. That's my obvious and predictable view on the DLC.
Yeah, I think adding flavor at a stage like this is sort of like it's like the reverse of CK3, which is getting new mechanics, but just desperately needs more flavor. Whereas the Victoria 3 mechanics are completely broken, and they're giving some more flavor.
That's actually a really good comparison. I mean, I'm not even interested in the DLC CK3 is doing, but at least they are adding mechanics. Well, like you said, that game does badly need the flavor, so they're adding the wrong thing to that game. Well, what in terms of CK3, that's a whole other topic, but what that game actually needs in terms of DLC is republics and perhaps things like that. And flavor.
Theocracies as well.
Yes. And what Victoria 3 needs is to be fucking fixed. To be fair, though, they had patch 1.2 recently, and that's when I put out my video. Well, it was after a bit during patch 1.2. I did my video about, I went into... Like I said in the video itself, I started off intending to cover mostly patch 1.2 and assess whether it was fixing the game, but then I started doing a retrospective of the launch, and I found some weird, interesting little tidbits like the Xbox Game Pass and their pre-order figures and all that, the questions about that. So it went into more of a retrospective about Victoria 3 itself, because basically it started off going after 1.2, but then I noticed actual interesting stuff I could talk about, like... because the actual game itself isn't really interesting in any way.
Yeah, anyway. No, and there was a couple of things that you mentioned in that video that I remember reading at the time, and they just completely slipped my mind. Like you mentioned, the Xbox Game Pass was actually it was a big deal, and it had completely slipped my mind until you re-mentioned it.
Yeah, that's what I think I brought to the table with that video, which is things that probably a lot of people wouldn't have noticed and slipped under the radar for most people, but then. Yeah, because not a lot of other people talk about these things with Victoria 3. Where are the video essayists,
Yeah. Yeah, well, where are the YouTubers, full stop? I mean, there has been very little content made for it. I mean, when you compare even to Victoria 2, but, the bigger games, Hearts of Iron, people are still making Crusader Kings 3 content, on quite a decent scale.
Yes, this is a very interesting topic. I mean, CK3 content is through the roof. It's going very well. CK3...
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of problems with CK3, but it's definitely very successful in terms of, well, it's being carried by mods. Let's not beat around the bush on that. Game of Thrones came out recently, and I did a huge stream on it on Sunday on my Twitch featuring Dinostan, and it was an absolute blast. So that game is being carried by mods, and it's, I don't know. I'd give base game CK3 like a 6 or a 5 out of 10, but then the mods bring it up to 9, basically. And where were we going with this? Talking about Victoria 3 somehow? What were we saying?
All over the place.
We're all over the place, just like Paradox.
Yeah. No, I think CK3, actually, I wouldn't, if you asked me a couple of months ago, I would have given CK3 a bad rap. But I think, it's like Overton window when they discuss like how bad things get, and they make the bad things look better. But CK3 has like a pretty decent basic skeleton. I don't know what's really happened in terms of development, whether they've just been left with a skeleton crew and everyone's moved over to Victoria 3 at some stage.
I don't know.
Because like I think somebody was saying in the chat with CK3, they're like the Iberian struggle, I think I played with that once or twice, and then it's just sort of, that's all there is to it, where they should be working on flavor, just more stuff. Like some people are saying CK2 is still more enjoyable because that game has so much stuff in it.
Yes, I believe that CK2 is an objectively vastly superior game to CK3. There's one thing
Absolutely.
that CK3 does better though. CK2's multiplayer isn't really. I don't know if you can really do much CK2 multiplayer. CK3 multiplayer kind of works.
I've played a shit ton of CK2 multiplayer. It works really well.
Okay, I might take that
experience.
back, I guess. Not 100% sure on that. But CK3's multiplayer seems to work, and it has the game rules. I mean, so does CK2, but I don't know. And I follow the multiplayer and where it's at, so that's why I do that. Boris, sorry for interrupting the text to speech. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Got to love half the DLC being adding more 3D character models. It's Jover. Yeah, that's absolutely true. I mean, like, yeah. 3D models, mate. We've been taking the piss out of 3D models in Victoria 3 from the start. Like, why did they even bother? Victoria isn't a franchise that needs that, and they're doubling down, and it's their first fucking DLC to add more of them. It's an absolute joke, to be honest. But
yeah, especially because it's not a character-driven game, and by any stretch of the imagination.
Like, it's not a character-driven game. They're trying to morph it into a character-driven game, and then they're doubling down and making a DLC about that. I mean, what are they thinking? Before this, but sorry, where I lost my train of thought was we were talking about YouTubers and content and that. So there hasn't been that much in the way of YouTubers talking about Victoria 3 in a critical, negative sense. There have been, I mean, when the game came out, I think there was a lot of coverage and there were some more negative reviews and stuff. But not, I don't know. I think what I brought to the table in my recent video was actually going in deep and hard on the development, what Paradox says and does about it, rather than the mechanics.
Most of what I've seen,
the mechanics bore me, so I like to talk about deeper things.
This might just be my YouTube, but most of what I've seen from Victoria 3 in way of big videos is talking about the politics of the game in relation to real world politics. Like, not actually really talking about the game. Like, there was a big, huge video, I'm just trying to remember the creator, but talking about, you know, the difference between Victoria 3 Africa and Victoria 2 Africa, and, you know, a lot of discussions about the politics of the game and not really talking about the game. You know, you don't really see big Victoria 3 videos.
Yeah, actually, the one that you refer to specifically was a video essayist who talked about why is someone in the chat spamming RIP and all this stuff. What's going on in the chat? Someone says whelp. What? Anyway, my actual chat window freezes and I'm seeing a smaller version. YouTube streaming chat always glitches for me. But anyway, the video essay you're referring to there, I think the channel name is Rosenkreuz. He did a 30-minute odd video about Victoria 3's portrayal of Africa and whatnot. And there's a whole story about this video because I commented on the video around the time when it came out. You've been sentenced to 30 minutes of left-leaning white guy video essayist. I made that joke in his comment. And then in his follow-up video, he used that comment I made as an example of hate he got on the first video. But my actual view on him and his video is like absolutely no disrespect, and it was an interesting video, I suppose. I might not have gotten all of it, but there's no problem there. And talking about the game and its politics and the deeper meanings behind this stuff is actually something that I think the game Victoria 3 is actually crying out for some more deep dives on its portrayal of history and all that, because like I said, all the YouTubers just talk about the mechanics, and that is literally the most boring shit thing about the game. Talk about on a deeper level.
Yeah, completely agree.
So, like, this DLC is a perfect example because they're going with a sort of historical and maybe political narrative with this DLC about people demanding better rights throughout the 19th century and stuff. I mean, why talk about the mechanics in the 3D models? There's a lot more interesting things about how they're portraying history here. I don't really, I don't know. I don't really think I'm prepared. I'm not educated enough to know maybe enough history to actually get into it that much. But I hope other people do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think I agree. I think those are the only Victoria 3 videos I've watched have been the people getting into the actual politics of it. Because if you're making a game on that scale, it's always going to be, biased in some way. And so it's interesting. It's interesting to talk about.
My main critique of Victoria 3's portrayal of history isn't what they do have in the game. It isn't to do with what they do cover. It's what they omit. which is war, and it's World War One. And it's the fact that this, the progressive view of the 19th century, that everything was just building up and it was happy, people were getting more rights, it was great, more technology. And like I said in the Victoria 3 War System video, that came crashing down and reached an absolutely fucking, what do you call it? Armageddon state level of things in World War One. Like the Industrial Revolution led to the industrial production of weapons and machine guns, grinding people, just like industry. It all led to that. And Victoria 3 completely admits that. And I hate that.
Yeah. And conscription on a scale that's never been seen before. There's just so many, like, completely unprecedented.
Well, that was the French Revolution. That's before this. It started there. But anyway, I digress. Well, I think Cavalier sends a message. I need to wait. I need to see what he said. My YouTube chat window keeps glitching. And I find it hard to read the chat here. It's annoying. Okay, there we go. He said, did they ever add the car lists and the war, or are they just an interest group or whatever they call it? Well, they certainly didn't add the car lists as a rebellion or anything. Whether it's an interest group in Spain in the game, I have no idea. Probably not. Someone says, "Welp." The funny thing is, I think Victoria 3 is worse at the Eurocentrism issue it's trying to solve in the first place. That is a great point. I've mentioned that before. I believe that Victoria 3 is actually more Eurocentric than Victoria 2 in worse ways and in more unintended ways. And it's mainly to do with the removal of war, conflict, and seeing the 19th century as peaceful. Because what happened in the 19th century, arguably, in a way, wasn't entirely the case, but the wars that had been happening in Europe were instead exported to imperialism around the world, Africa, Asia, China. The violence was exported, it just moved. And so to portray the 19th century as peaceful is Eurocentric. Because the violence just moved elsewhere and they don't talk about it. There you go. I think that's a good point. Fucking nailed it.
It is.
So they're Eurocentric and they play down imperialism and all that.
I mean, it was one of the bloodiest times in my country's history with the Musket Wars. The British giving lots and lots of guns to the very different Iwi tribes, and they're just killing each other. You know, it's actually staggering how bloody it was. You know, and it's all over. You know, that's just an example, just all over the map in that time period. It's just chaos.
Yeah, and the thing is, the thing that shows me that Paradox actually tried to not be Eurocentric is that they added Maori tribes in New Zealand at the start of the game, right? But then they just don't do anything. There's no flavor. There's, you know, you can't even play as them, I think, or something. They just don't do anything. But they just added them. Maybe it'll be future DLC. We know that.
Yeah.
Remember when the British peacefully burned down the Summer Palace? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which is an event in base Victoria 2. The burning of the Summer Palace, kind of famous event in the game that any country at war with China can do if they occupy Beijing, which is a kind of unique event when you think about it. Decision in Vic 2. Like a decision where the target country is the same, but any country can do it. It's kind of unique. But anyway, that's another tangent. That's what these intros are for, though. Paradox's stream, they begin in 10 minutes, and I'm looking forward to it. Will it be a shit show? Oh, I can't wait.
Looks like they're really chit-chatting at the moment, if you've had a look.
Wait, are they? Are they live?
They are live, they're chit-chatting.
Huh?
I don't know what they're saying. I'll tune in.
Oh, I paused them by accident. What's going on? They started early. Wait, what? Yeah, you didn't tell me. What's going on here?
Anyway, so now we didn't get one of the.
I think they've only just started, so no big deal.
Get that another time. So the first thing we see.
They started early. For fuck's sake, this was supposed to be at 2:30 CEST.
Themed map that also has a bunch of illustrations here. We were a bit worried about doing this for the base game map, but we tried it out for this, and it worked out so well. I don't think
they changed the UI
back on this. Basically, doing illustrations on the map here, so you can see the mountain ranges and rivers and stuff on this map as well.
No longer just a paint bucket Photoshop filled.
I do believe it's called Art Nouveau, right?
Yeah.
Well, wait, no, wait, no, I don't know about this. They're adding terrain to the zoomed out political map.
Let's not dawdle here.
They're adding terrain.
With France.
Why?
And
Give a
we're
terrain
gonna
map mode
start
and a
playing.
political map mode. I hate what
And
Paradox does with
before I'm
merging them
pausing,
into the same thing.
I'll go through a few things to show off a few of the things that we've done. So one thing is the brand new French building set. So in France, regardless of what country you play, right? Obviously, you can have this pack and play as Prussia, and you will still see these cool French buildings if you pan over on France, right?
Okay, the DLC
not
adds
in
buildings
Persia.
to France.
No,
They're not going to have the French buildings in Persia.
They will
That
not.
was kind of what I was thinking. I was like, ooh.
No, they will not. No, they will not. But yeah, so it'll have a sort of decidedly more kind of organic look to them than the default Western style.
This sure is a great
yeah.
game of Total War they're playing right
Hopefully
now.
make you want to zoom in a little bit more and take a look at your pretty little cities after you build them. But another thing that we see here straight away is some new journal entries, which are unique. to
David
French
celebrates the
divided monarchies.
graphics. Thank you for the $2
Journal entry
super chat.
Cement the
I
house
agree.
of
It's great.
X.
Worth
This is
15
kinda
quid, or
dynamic. We'll see
$15,
how it goes
right?
in a minute. And the conquest of Algeria, and these are the ones you get at start, and then there's a few more that might show up.
So in terms of being a shit show, the stream might be considered that because they started early.
So I'm gonna do the thing that everyone hates.
Yeah,
and,
strange, yeah.
Instead of running
Quite
the game
early
at
as well.
speed 5 and
They
pausing
said
every time there's something cool,
half
I
past,
run it
and they started at,
speed
I don't
3
know,
and not
20
even look
past.
at the
So
screen.
that's something
Right now, I'm gonna look
annoying.
At you for a moment, Björn. Just because I know that it makes people so anxious when they watch the stream. Like, why is he not? It's like not watching the road when you're driving. But I want to do that because we don't have a ton of time, and I want to make sure that
We don't have a ton of
things
time?
actually happen here while we're playing. So the first thing that happens: Pretenders to the Throne. We have some dynastic squabbles between the Orleanist, the Legitimist, and the Bonapartist lines. These are represented as ideologies as well. So you see that the current King of France has the Orleanist ideology, which believes certain things about governance principles and distribution of power, economic system, and trade policy, right? Whereas, for example, the Bonapartist line cares about
These ideologies aren't just a set of policies. These are a very philosophy on life itself, and they narrow it down to fucking free trade. And
free speech.
I'm joking.
So,
Or am I? I don't know.
Very kind of different.
That's what a French
ways
person would
of,
respond to this, basically, I
governing your
think.
nation.
Yes.
And the question here is, which king do you want on the throne?
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh.
Or
Oh, this
do
is
you
interesting.
want a king on the throne?
Yeah,
at
it's
all?
it's
Maybe you
flavor.
want
Shall we
a
ask
The game
the
lacks
chat?
flavor. They're adding that, but
That's dangerous.
I just thought.
What do
I
you say,
just
chat?
fucking
You have like
flavor
10 seconds to pick. Cador say Napoleon.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this is a pretty
course you
simple
do, yeah.
event. Like, you can literally just
I'm pretty
choose.
sure
There we go.
that-
the government.
Bonapartist it is. So, support the Bonapartist pretenders. What will happen now is that the divided monarchist journal entry registers this. We're supporting the House of Bonaparte. I can switch here, but if I switch...
Amazing
I'll lose
visual
progress
novel
on it.
content.
So if I
This
change
must
my
be what they
mind,
hired the
actually,
TNO
I
dev
can
for,
do
says
it,
Tiber
right?
in the chat. Correct.
But
They hired
what we're
Pacifica
gonna
from
try to do
TNO,
here is,
and now we're getting
throw this
visual
Orleanist
novel
king
stuff.
off the throne, install a Bonapartist pretender, and see what happens. And the only way to gain progress in this will take 60 weeks to complete. And the way to gain progress is if you have someone in government, any interest group leader, who support the Bonapartist ideology. And just because sometimes this can be kind of random, right? So in this particular case, we start with a landowner who's Orleanist. They support the king.
Bonapartist, you say?
in the armed
What just
forces, a
happened
legitimate Catholic
20
Church,
years
and
ago,
a reformer
15 years ago in the
that's
game
what
time
this is,
here? And
right?
what might a new Bonapartist
And
candidate
so
want to
right
happen
now, this
again?
isn't really happening for us. We can't
That
include
maybe
anyone else
maybe
here. We
maybe
have one
little war?
Bonapartist here.
The
He's a leader
bourgeois.
of the petite bourgeoisie, but they're marginalized. So
Probably
we
the
can't
third was a
put them in
pacifist, though.
government.
I can't remember.
So we have kind of two options to go here if we want to pursue this journal entry.
Now, Napoleon III didn't do that many wars. He did a war in Italy.
Enhance the
He did some overseas wars, like I said, again, exporting war
such that they
from
He
Europe.
entered his whole country.
and then reform the
I think
government.
I think that's quite because of his emotions. It was I'd call him a warlike guy.
Yeah, he
It's
provoked.
invaded
That's one
Mexico.
way. Another way
Yeah,
to
he was
do it,
baited into the
is a
Franco-Prussian War.
relatively different.
Palaya
You can
says, "This is so awesome. I hope they add focus
we
trees for
have
my
a new
favorite game, Hoi
character
4. Thank you very much for the
new
550
system
Canadian
that we've
dollars."
added in 1.3 as well.
Now they're adding
That we
journal
have access
entries
to because
instead of
we are
focus
supporting the
trees.
House of Bonaparte.
No,
And what
journal
this
entries are in the
is
game
we
already,
will
but they're adding more of
sway
them.
one of these interest group leaders, as long as they actually I don't.
So
for
in terms
example,
of
I'm not
actual
gonna be
analysis
able
here, they're
to sway
not
this
just
guy
adding
because
more
he is
LARP to fill
alliance.
in what they have in the game already. They're actually adding new
And,
mechanic-y
You can
things
only sway
here.
the people who are not
which
on
is-
one side
I don't know.
already.
So
like
this-
They could have just filled out.
Exactly. This guy's a moderator.
They could have just added
so,
more journal
we can-
entries
we
and
can
filled out the game
bribe
as it
him,
was, sort of.
right? To
I don't know.
to support
A
our
better way of
cause.
adding the flavor the game is
But
missing, perhaps.
Doing this
Yeah,
means
is this
that
worth money,
all
though?
the opposition interest
No.
groups
More
are
money
gonna
than
get
what's been
minus two
paid
approval for
already.
4 years.
If you've paid full price for this game,
Because
you've paid
we've shown
$50 for it
that
on
we
launch, and now
are,
another 15
we're-
for this.
We're basically corrupting these people.
For basically
right,
what
to
should be in the
support
game
our
on
No, no,
launch.
wait,
right,
sorry,
so-
no, it's not corruption.
No, that's not what I meant.
It's not corruption when you do it for a good cause,
That's right,
which is
that's right.
which is Bonapartist.
Here I can't do it because because they're radical. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and do this to him as soon as we can, so that we can start getting progress in this bar.
Has he just clicked it and he turned
hopefully we can
Bonapartist?
keep these armed
He's trying to
forces
turn a guy,
in
Bonapartist,
government,
who I
because
believe
now
is a
we're not
leader of an
gonna be able
interest
to
group
do
there.
this
I don't know.
again,
But his ideology
for a
immediately
while. There's a
changed.
cooldown on this.
Well,
Now I
it's
can't
easy.
do this
It's as
against
simple
other
as that.
players.
It's just
The
just immediately
competing
changed.
thing that's happening here is
bonjour, mec. Tu veux être un bonapartiste, s'il te plaît? Oui, bien sûr. Ah, merci.
This meter ticks up. If they're on
That was the
throne for
interaction.
10 years, then the House of Orleans is it.
Yeah, that's actually the
event, the Eternal
that's the
House of
natural
Orleans.
conclusion to this
And that's the new
focus
line
on
now,
3D
sort of,
models is adding voice
monarchic
acting
dispute
the following
is
DLC.
over.
Yeah.
We have so many events.
You
Raising
click on one of the
concerns,
fucking focus groups, and
we've
that's
all
what you're
seen
gonna
this.
hear.
We're gonna go with this. Sorry, I'm gonna click through these two.
French
because,
Oran raided.
they're part of the basic game. They're not as interesting, but I'm gonna
Do something
do
about
this one.
that. Fight a war against the
Now I am
Algerians.
actually gonna pause.
Rebuild, their day will come in Victoria 4.
We have some marauders flying the flag of Mascara that has raided our settlement in Oran. One thing that, if you study in the map carefully here, you will find no longer does France have a long blue strip down here called Algiers. Instead, we have three unincorporated states, basically former colonies, right?
Napoleon
I just
paranoia
have a very-
meter. What is that in the actual game, or
They
is
have
it?
very lush eyelashes in mascara.
I'm not equipped to answer.
I'm just
this
waiting for
question.
these super chats
Can the chat? Can the chat?
alerts to come through.
I also don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Maybe it should be pronounced mascara and not mascara. Please educate me, chat. But what's happening here is that we have a few new nations, Constantine, Aitabas, and then Mascara, that encompasses Iran and Algiers. And these
Oh, it was a
these
super
three
chat.
new
Napoleon
nations
paranoia
are
meter.
actually- we actually
Thank you
have
very
to
much,
do
Stalker, for the
that.
400 huff.
The
Appreciate it.
to us.
What's half?
Hungarian
What's
offs.
happening here is that we have these
Hungarian
Mascarans,
Brady,
Is that right?
£2. Sorry, Brady, £2. Thank you for the super chat. Says, can't wait to change Marx to capitalism.
Iran.
Well,
And
you see,
that is a problem.
Marx believed that
is going
capitalism
to
was a
cause issues
natural
for us.
part of the
We-
chain of
in
history
either
that
case
had
here,
to be done in
that's
order to
been
reach
waited
communism.
2
So
years.
he already is.
That
Got you.
reduces our migration, increases our mortality.
He supports
and
it.
supports our agricultural industry.
Just gonna click a button,
And
switch it.
relations are going to
Bonapartist Marx coming through.
The difference between these two events, I can say, yeah, okay, that happened. Or I can blame it all on this general. Same thing's going to happen, but I get an opportunity to get rid of this general.
Hungarian
I don't know,
forints.
he seems fine.
Thank you.
He's a traditionalist. I'm okay with a traditionalist. I'm pursuing Bonapartism. It's going to be fine. We will go with this. But these raids are
I
gonna
hope they show
continue
Lenin
as long
soon.
as
This stuff
we
is
have
boring.
this,
Says
conquest
Stanislav in the
area,
chat.
I'm
Yeah.
interested. I'm interested to see what
happening,
you and the
right?
chat
So I
think
can either
about
give
this,
up on
but
these
personally,
things,
in my
right?
personal opinion, I've
Or
always
I can
really
try
not liked
to,
random events that pop up,
to
and it's like
get
it's why I hate playing the
Iran
United
out
States
here
in vanilla in
Constantine,
Victoria 2.
to
It's just
be
like
owned
just
by
so many events you have to click away all
France
the
or
time.
its subjects. Meaning, if I can,
I love an
if I
event
can,
where you're, fulfilling
make
the
these
prerequisites to
my
click a button and then
puppets,
it comes
right?
up. That's
If
cool.
I can,
But just like the random, like
subjugate,
who reads that?
if I can
That, when
subjugate
it's
these
just a
guys,
random
then
event that's
these
attack an
issues
X
will
province and it's
cease.
just the same text that you've already seen 6
Or
times.
if I take them
I think those are
Yeah.
like just
We sent
remove them from the
Foreign
game.
Legion
So, same with CK3 and and CK2 to a lesser extent. There's a lot.
But sadly,
CK2 has
privatized,
enough random events
military
where
is
it's
not something that we support.
at least there's a good
Eventually
variety.
we'll get there. Eventually we'll get there.
Yeah, I
I
think
guess
you raised a
we'll
genuinely
wait
good
for
point there
the
about
barracks to make
events.
money, and then we can.
It's obnoxious, just the random events. It's like random encounters
But
when
yeah,
you're
so we're
playing
gonna
the
have to do
Pokemon
something
games.
about these guys eventually, because
Now
these
he's
colonies
just
are only gonna
ideology.
keep
Not
hurting.
a semi-generic
Until we
event,
do.
senhor mechanic about a general
Here
your
we're ticking
game for
along. I'm
replayability.
ignoring everything else, and
Duper
yeah,
raises another
prices
very
are
interesting
super
super chat.
anxious.
$20.
Why
Thank you
is
so
he not
much.
building anything?
Yeah,
It's
Napoleon the
fine.
Third
My
went through a long
capitalism built
story
itself.
and
But
stuff, and how he came to power in France. I
capitalism.
believe
let's
he
improve our
he was exiled in Britain for a
construction
while. He
sector,
tried to
please.
launch a coup that was a joke and a disaster, and then he became.
Um,
Then he went into politics and became elected president, and then took over that way. Does that happen in this DLC? Can you go through that
few things.
with
We're
any of
not
these events? I
enacting
don't
any
believe so,
laws
right?
yet. You know what?
Thanks for the super chat.
I'm gonna play a little bit better, at least, and I'm gonna at least
Oh, they're gone.
Try hard.
erect some tooling industries.
The Victoria 3 developers are gone. It's over. They've just
Here,
they've
I
just
don't
quit.
actually know if this. I don't remember
Game's
now
dead.
if this was part of 1.2 or 1.3. This interface. We've enhanced a few of these interfaces as well for 1.3 to make them more.
Yeah.
As
But I-
Victoria 3 connoisseur, what are we
better
looking at?
usability. This I think
Spud?
might be new.
This is a lens here about. I'm sure the devs are explaining it because they're actually still there.
Good traits are right. The good soil.
This is new, actually,
stuff
right?
like that. But yeah, so while that's doing its thing,
There's the
let's
infamous fucking building queue. I
hop
hate
into
it
the
so much.
laws and the politics panel. So this is completely reworked. The politics panel overview tab here.
I actually have a lot to say about
as
this.
You can see, this is. It's
But I'll let
using
them speak
space
for
a
now and
little bit
explain.
more properly than we used to. But in particular, I think these are so useful. This shows you a breakdown of the loyalists and the radicals that you have, split up by interest group.
Is this in the DLC or not, though? That's my question.
So we can see here that the rural folk love me for whatever reason. Probably their standard of living is just going up, and the labor with the trade unions are not liking me quite as much. But by and large, the trend is looking positive here. We have a lot more loyalists than radicals. Mostly due to the fact that we're running a very, very high legitimacy government so far. Apparently, the people like this king. Too bad for them.
Is that real?
And yeah, I got a question. Is why only France
Do
with this
they?
immersion pack and not more Euro nations like Russia and Germany? Well, that's the thing, right? That the immersion packs are usually, if you play EU4, where we've been doing immersion packs for a while, like we focus on. It's usually quite focus mini expansions or whatever to call, like with a lot of focus on.
Oh, they call it a mini expansion. That's
it's
dangerous.
Full price.
immersion for playing
It's full
a
price, same
specific
price as all the other
part of the
expansions.
game. So
Yeah.
for this one is France.
The actual expansion,
would
the real
imagine
expansion
that
that's
would
coming
be
soon in the next
Russian,
few months or
German,
whatever, we don't know about yet, is going to be $30.
No, I'm talking about
Yeah.
the
More
EU4
expensive,
immersion packs.
expansion about
Right.
Or
They
yeah,
are
exactly.
the
or
same
some other
price. I
way of
remember
adding more.
when the
We
Britannia
wanted
one
to
came
go
out,
deeper
same price
into one
as
country rather than
regular
broader
expansions.
onto a bunch of them.
Right.
And in terms of immersion here, yes, you're immersing into France, but also if you're playing a different country, you're still getting the advantages of the French-inspired like agitation mechanics and stuff like that. So there's still substantial gameplay improvement if you're playing as another country, of
Yeah.
course. But I do recommend playing
Yeah,
France. with this.
mechanics obviously are global. but then we also introduced a lot of France-specific content.
So what they're saying is they've added new political mechanics that are designed for their French DLC, and they now apply to every country except in every other
Here's a
country
new
other
little,
than France.
graphical detail as
That there'll be
well.
fuck all in it because they only
This
added new
shows
characters to France.
a
This is me
revolutionary movement
doing my
for
usual
them.
thing of reading between the lines of
And
what they
this is
really mean by
happening,
what they
thankfully
say.
not in France right now. It's happening in our neighborhood.
They say, please play other countries than France. Trust me, a lot is added to that. But no, it's not. It's just added new characters to France.
For whatever reason.
And then maybe Lenin will appear in like fucking 1890
It's fun.
or 1900,
See what they're
which is a
doing. They're
time period
reforming
that
something
Victoria
here.
3 doesn't give much of a
They're
shit about
reforming what
because
are
that's building up to World War
reforming
One.
their,
And the Russo-Japanese
going
War and that
to-
revolution.
yes,
The
right.
Russo-Japanese
If
War
you
is another
follow the
war that we
Net
completely
Diaries,
forget
you will
about
see
when we
this,
talk
but if you
about
haven't,
how Victoria
we have
3
a
has
new
fuck
law
all.
group
But
here.
that's a
So
very
they're
important
going to
one.
homesteading as a
Massive,
tenant
massive
farmer
impact
for
on
their land
European
reform.
supremacy in terms of global
so,
politics and stuff like that.
They were
And it led to
on,
a Russian
tenant
Russian
farmers, which
revolution
gives the
in
landowners a
1905,
lot of
I
political
believe,
strength.
or it was one of the
And,
causes.
they are looking to reform.
Which is how it ties into politics, which is what the Victoria 3 devs actually like.
Folk, and of course, unlocks production methods and stuff that actually gives the.
And it was World War One that led
local
to the
farmers
Russian
the
Revolution in
dividends from,
1917 and then the
from
Bolsheviks.
buildings that
So they've added Vladimir Lenin, but they've added
the land
nothing of how he gets into power, which is through the wars. And then the Russian Civil War.
Here we can see where
Nothing.
We're
This
we're
game
keeping up a little
just-
bit faster
ah.
on this than this one. This one will take much longer to complete. So that's what we
Cement
want
the
to do,
House of
basically
Orleans.
race this one before this one is up.
Cement it in war.
But we have a political movement as well.
And then
Here's
Polish
something new
uprisings as well,
also.
someone mentions in the chat.
So
Very
1.3
important shout out
is
to the
we
Poles.
have a new political movement panel. So we can actually see more clearly.
Those
who
were
is
very
it that's
important as
supporting
well.
This and what
And
can
then
we do to
1848, the
try to deal with
Hungarian
this
one.
movement?
Shout out to my Huffs.
And in this case, they want census up.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the,
instead of what we have
Russian
currently,
Revolution
which
and
is
how cool that could
well-flowing.
be if you,
Yeah,
if you
I
could
just want to point out also
fully
I see there's some
implement
confusion in
what
the chat.
they
So, yeah,
are trying to.
if you have questions,
and
just post
failing.
them in the chat. I will
Yeah,
try
Someone
to
in the
find
chat
the
says,
problem here, so that I
why are you
see-
so butthurt
see
about this
between
game?
two
Why are
screens.
you
I
so
have the
butthurt
chat here.
about getting banned
Here,
by...
so I'm trying to look on the chat as much as I
Like
can.
the
and pick up your
Czechoslovak
questions,
Legion, you know,
but,
there could be a
I might not
thing.
notice them immediately. But
Mensheviks,
yeah,
it's like
if you have
very
questions,
politically
just
dense.
ask away in the chat. and
War,
we'll try to
but
answer
you know,
them.
it's a war. So
Yeah.
Here we can see what pops are supporting this movement.
Daily reminder
Either
that
because
Victoria
they are
2 brings you the
supporting
story
a
of the Czech
interest group
Legion
that,
in
that
Bernard's
are
War.
backing it, or because they just
It can happen in Victoria 2 by multi-province
align with
retreating all
this,
across
with this
Siberia
principle.
with Czech
You
troops.
can have a political movement
with
without
that.
any interest group support, for example. Just a bunch of angry
Lenin just
assets
materializes out of
decided
thin
to
air
do
and
that,
takes
and they
over.
wanted to change
Yeah, it's not as
something.
if,
That's
and I
all.
mentioned this in, I think, a
And we
Discord
can see
channel or
exactly
something,
who they are here.
about how when fighting World War
This
One,
census
the
suffrage is
Germans
actually getting
allowed
complete
Lenin
support from the
via
fascists.
Switzerland
And
through
most of
on a
those
train
people are politically
into
unaligned,
Finland,
right?
or
But
through
there
to
were
Sweden and
folk
Finland,
who also
and then into
felt
Russia, so that he could
this is,
destabilize Russia, so that Germany could
it's
win the war
fine.
more.
Right now, they have
Lenin doesn't get into power without World War One.
moderate
That's
support.
not a very
They're
that's not a very
radically
controversial
slow,
historical
but
statement.
growing.
But in Victoria 3, he
So,
just,
it
you know,
could
he
get
materializes, he
better
becomes an agitator.
eventually.
You can convert him to
but,
capitalism with
yeah,
the
they
new
don't have
fucking
enough
mechanics, and then, I don't know,
as of yet.
what's even going on in this game?
Also, I have some questions here about, like, for example, here we have a question. Is the
Sorry if I'm
single
just
party
ranting and
system
not letting you
available
speak
now
much,
or only
Piechucker.
late game?
Or, yeah.
that's all good. I'm
Oh,
taking
that's a
in
good question.
the,
So let's
very
take a look.
dense
So
visuals.
that's another thing that we added, right? Is the single party state, and single party state is locked behind political agitation. So you do need this tech, and it's an era for tech. So
Yeah.
unless you're rushing this, it's probably towards the mid to late game that you're getting the ability to have this, right?
Yeah, I want to point out that actually we are aware it's a discussion we've been having where it's a problem that a lot of the stuff added in this immersion pack is actually not available until you played for a while. So was a decision to be made, like, do we want to make it
That's not a problem
by
at all,
instantly,
in my
get
opinion.
new stuff immediately, or do we actually want to make stuff that
Yeah.
makes sense? So we picked the later. So hopefully you guys will
Having stuff for the
understanding
mid to
that
the late game
you
is a
might
good
buy
thing.
this immersion pack and you might not see all the stuff immediately, but if you just continue playing, you will eventually all of it is gonna make sense. I
Yeah,
hope.
no, absolutely. It's more of like a
But
story.
people don't want to
of
continue
friends
playing.
or adding on to the game. So yeah, you're not gonna get all the cool new toys in the very beginning. Similarly, we haven't talked about this yet. The agitator mechanic. The agitator mechanic, unless you're great power, you have pretty limited ability to interact with this when you start the game. But Tex will unlock more and more.
That was a
ability
Freudian
to
slip.
deal
Most
with
of this
it
shit.
more
Did
in
Michael say
story
most of this
sort
shit? Did he say
opportunity
that?
for them to arrive in your country independently.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
So agitators are a new class of characters that
Someone in the chat
I
shout.
had a-
Oh, sorry. Go
or
ahead. Go ahead.
join,
I have a
political
question for the
movements,
chat.
and
you, Spud.
sort of lead the people.
So when you've got like,
in,
I think we've
in-
discussed this
this is
before,
where the voice of
perhaps
people,
with
name comes
Hearts 1 and 4, for
Um,
example.
lead
You
the
know, and
people in
Russia didn't have
support
a
of,
focus tree for
a certain
ages and ages and
ideology, Not
ages.
just a single law,
Um,
right? So
But Road to
in
56,
this
the
particular
mod
case,
adds focus trees for everyone. You know, and multiple focus trees for
Farah,
every different country.
If I invited
And
him to my
same
country, or
with
indeed if he joined, if he
Europa,
arrived at my
Europa
country,
mods adding
he will
enormous
start a movement to
trees,
enact
mission
political
trees.
exploitation,
And then with a
because that's
actual
what his
official expansion, you're getting like one mission tree or two mission trees or
right?
one focus tree if it's
But
Hearts 1. Why is
he
that the
wouldn't
case? Like,
necessarily
because it
stop there.
seems
If
to
he
be
got his
obviously
way,
modders are
then he
working
would
hard,
then
but
try to
surely modders aren't
pass,
don't have as much resource as
whatever ideology
the development
they have,
team. So how are they producing
see that through to
comparatively
its,
so
fullest
much
form.
less? I don't know why that is. Like,
Someone
genuinely,
just
that's
got
a
Yeah, that's
genuine
a-
question.
That's a good question.
This is a radical part of
Modders
the
seem to be able to just pump out
Sorry
stuff,
to interrupt you,
and then
Doc. I
Paradox
just wanna-
repackages like
no,
1% of it for
because
money.
I don't want to interrupt.
That's
and
crazy.
Much, and we get quite a lot of questions. Do you think you could like copy the questions that are popping out of screen? Do you think you could like copy?
Yeah, is it
paste
pure
them
laziness?
or
'Cause
something?
obviously
And I
there's
will
a
try to
degree
get
of
to them
polish
when
on
there's a
the-
moment, or if we do it at the end of the stream or something.
Well, yeah, I
That's
don't know
possible.
about that.
I don't
actually.
want
Take that
to. I don't want to burden you too much. Sorry. nerd.
Mods have passion. I would
But
say
yeah,
no
I
one
really
said it
want
yet
to
in the
answer
chat, but
people's
skill
questions,
issue I
but
think
it's
sums
like,
it up as well.
when
Maybe
Mikael is
skill
talking
issue.
about this stuff, and then this comes some completely unrelated question. I don't want to interrupt you and just derail. So if we could like save the questions for a bit somehow, maybe we
Yeah,
could have,
maybe
we should have
Paradox
it
is more
add-on
cautious
to
about
the
how much a
related
focus tree
question, like
changes
save
the
it
balance of the
so
game
we
than a
can
modder
have,
would
like,
be.
have a collection of questions. That would be awesome, Nerdo.
I mean, like
Sorry.
Europa
Again.
Universalis 4 Lines of the North.
And
is
sorry to the
essentially
chat.
like
I
two
will
or
try
three
to. I will try to get to your question, but yeah,
mission
I don't wanna
trees,
interrupt
mainly
you,
for
Mikael,
Sweden,
with
obviously Sweden and
unrelated
Norway.
questions that are not
Please,
You
related.
know, and that's
interrupt
24
me.
New Zealand
Yeah, but
dollars.
I
You
don't
know what I
wanna-
mean?
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to follow if
Yeah.
we
You
like
could get a
start
mod that
start
adds
talking about other stuff in the middle.
dozens.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm
Yeah,
rambling.
Paradox. I mean,
But,
Paradox
but
are
no,
good for modders
so,
now.
yeah,
I guess
this
they
guy
do add a lot more
suddenly showed
modding
up more in the
potential,
exile pool
as we've seen in
because-
CK3.
specifically because he
I
got
guess that's a good thing
exiled
from
from another
Paradox, but
country.
it's
Someone
not much of an
didn't
excuse for making the base games that they
probably
make
someone in Italy,
lackluster.
it looks like.
Here was a question I saw a few times that's actually not that's actually kind of related. What's
Yeah.
with the different backgrounds of
Ah,
the
yeah.
characters?
So we'll see this if we tooltip over them. The difference here is this part. This is a history.
Where are
of
we
the
now?
character. So in the cases where we have directly like lifted a person out of history, they have this green background. Just to highlight to you that this is someone that actually is not like randomly generated. They're not usually that different. Often you will recognize them without this, but we thought that this would be just sort of a nice touch to give you some information if you wanted to read more about them or whatever.
We should have a Wikipedia link in there so you have to click it and get it.
You know, it's exciting that you would say
That's
that.
nice.
We do have that for some
It's a
characters.
nice feature.
I don't even know if you knew that, Björn.
I
or
actually
if you-
didn't.
No, that's actually something that we added. We don't have it for all characters because they have to be characters that have a specific correct appearance. For the modders out there, they have to have a character template and not just be generated on the fly with a certain name in order for us to add that link. But some characters do have that, and then you'll be able to just right-click on them, and it'll give you a link here. Like click here, and it will open a browser.
Do you remember Spud? This is probably like 6,
But
7,
yeah,
8 years
so
ago.
because I have a couple
When Steam tried to
of,
introduce paid mods.
like two.
Like they tried to
Mm,
introduce it
no.
with Skyrim.
having agitators at the
It
I
was
moment.
don't
a
know.
total
That's coming
disaster.
from me
Because I think the
being
rev share was like
great power.
30% modders, 70% developer, and
I
they'd
can
be
either
commercializing the
invite
modders'
myself
work. I
if
don't know
I
if you remember
wanna,
this. Does anybody
you know,
remember
go
this?
out
It
I
was a
think I
long
might.
time ago.
I think I remember
Jingo
mention
is
of it, but I can't remember any
maybe-
specifics
maybe
about that.
Jingo is there. I'm gonna invite him.
Sounds terrible.
So
Yeah, it was terrible.
now
Yeah,
he's
Jacob
going
remembers.
to ask to
If anyone's going to
ask
try and bring that up again, do you think it'd be Paradox? They just hire modders onto their actual development teams, like Pacifica, for example.
What does agitator?
Pacifica
introduce
became a
here?
paid
Aren't they
modder.
opposite they introduce just voice of masses?
And they've done it with EU4 a lot as well, yeah.
This is
They
their
hired a lot of EU4 people
Creation
into.
their
Club
allegiance,
still
right?
exists.
So every
Is that what I'm talking
political
about?
character,
Oh, is it like
is aligned
Fallout
with
4
the
or whatever?
This doesn't necessarily mean that the interest group
Creation Club.
leader and the agitator agrees, but it's more of, you know, who are they aligned with? If there was a revolution, which
Yeah, the
side
pay
would they
ratio
go
was
to, right?
outrageous.
Things like that. But an agitator can support a movement, for example.
Yeah, that is what I'm talking
without
about, Creation
their interest group necessarily supporting that movement officially yet, and things like that. But yeah, that's basically what it is. So I think this expansion sort of, or immersion pack sort of further establishes interest groups as the sort of the nice political
guess
establishment.
Now's the
right?
time that I'm
Because
going
the
to take the
agitators
opportunity
and
to
the
talk about
interest group
my overall
free
opinion
political
on
movements
what they're doing
or
with this DLC, right? So
that don't
when
necessarily
it comes to
have
Victoria 3,
normal
my opinion on the game is that the war is terrible, the economy is pretty bad, but the strongest
can, in fact,
system in Victoria 3, in my opinion, has always been the politics. I think the politics stands up better than any of its other mechanics. Some people may agree with me, some people may disagree, and that's fine.
better suited than you.
I always thought the political system was the best.
Charge,
So,
then I would be able
for that reason, or it was, at least you could say maybe,
bump the other guy out.
if you don't want to give an opinion, you could argue that the politics system was the most fleshed out and objectively most complete
Put a pin
system,
on them
I
and
think,
say,
maybe in the
"Here,
game.
have some men," and
So for that reason, it's absolutely mind-boggling that this first Immersion Pack
I can
DLC
also exile people.
reworks politics. Why did they rework the one system that they had that was the best, and not fucking fix the disaster of war, or maybe upgrade the economy? They've done some economy stuff in patch 1.2 though, for the record.
Just keep doing this to everyone all the time.
That is just kind of crazy to
You
me.
can also exile
Like
users
they're
who
changing the bit that was the most fleshed out.
and that makes them agitators.
That's a fair call.
And finally,
There's a history of that. Same with
one thing
European
that,
Universalis mechanics
you
that
can
are
also do,
perfectly
in
fine,
some
that are
cases
getting
is if you
reworked
have
into
a
like
rivalry with the
more
country that
convoluted,
they came from, in this case Tuscany, you
less
can
helpful
engage
mechanics.
them. You can say, oh yeah,
They do
I-
rework stuff that doesn't need
you
reworks
chose
necessarily,
this
or not
and then they get sent
prioritized.
back. And of course, when they get sent
Shouldn't be
back, then
prioritized.
they start this political movement.
Yeah, so Geo asked if these changes are good. I don't know. I guess I would have to play them, and I won't play them because I'm not going to get this DLC. Maybe I'll do a meme where I go into, if someone does get it and they host a multiplayer game, I'll get it. I'll see it that way. But I'm not getting this DLC, so
there's a possibility for.
I guess I'm not here to make a value judgment on the actual mechanics of the DLC themselves, I guess, but I'm talking about them in general and why it's the direction, why it's bad value for money, and all that, in my opinion, and why
For
we take
me,
in this
it-
direction.
For me, it's the right idea. It's just the scale. And I think that's with a lot of modern Paradox expansions, is that tons of new shit for France in terms of these journal entries is really cool, and some nice quality of life features to point out historical characters, and they've reworked the information in the politics tab here to be more accessible. So that's all good changes. But in terms of the amount of content in that, if it was France and Germany and England, then you'd be looking at, okay, that's worth it. Because that's multiple games you can play. Essentially, what you have here is $25, $26 New Zealand dollars to play France once, and it being, slightly more interesting than it was last time.
Yeah, that's true. They tried their best to sort of justify how it adds more to every country as well, but I explained why that's not the case. And you're right, just, £15 no, sorry, it's £12.50, $15, and then God knows how many New Zealand dollars in your wee inflated currency over there. Jacinda bucks.
Yeah, it's pretty shocking.
No, I'm joking, but yeah, all that money for just a decent new playthrough on France or two. Nah, mate, just, and especially when you have mods that can do much better.
Yeah, I think that's really the way to look at it in terms of judging its value. Is how long is one Victoria 3 campaign in single player? And you're probably not going to play it to the end because nobody does. I mean, how many people have those achievements in Paradox games? Like 1-2%.
I do. If there is an achievement to finish a Victoria 3 campaign all the way to the end, then I have it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no, I think I've got an achievement to finish a Europa campaign, and it's like it's quite a rare achievement.
I think so right now.
Yeah.
Here's a sort of similar.
They did also say how a lot of the mechanics in this DLC kick in later, mid to late game, which it's a good. Like honestly, that's actually a really good thing because, yeah, don't blow your load early. Excuse the discussion there, but it's got to last until the mid to late game, right? Right, guys? What the fuck?
So crass.
But yeah, it's good that they have stuff that lasts into the mid and late game to keep you there and to add more stuff instead of just having a bunch of new interesting stuff that lasts to the early game, then you're done.
So we have some different.
And here they've added Victor Hugo, which is I forgot. When I heard about a DLC adding new characters to France, I forgot Victor Hugo should be in that. Here he is.
Bad for me, quite bad. We can send him away.
He was exiled in real life, right?
That's a lesser issue.
I believe he was.
Or he will disappear, and it won't be that bad. But he is Republican, so he's gonna try to get rid of.
They, for the record, Paradox have paused the game to dissect an event that came up.
I'll deal with that. That's fine.
Yeah,
They added Coco Chanel to the game, leader of an interest group.
There was a little tag
I don't know. Is that a fashion thing?
Yeah, it's just we're just tagging.
She's
the
founded Chanel.
events so that
She's
you
French.
know which ones are part of it.
Who else would they have added to France in this time period?
So
I don't know why that's the first thing that came to my mind is Coco Chanel. It's really weird, actually. Don't think about that, guys. Too much.
They say that it's how many characters? 60 characters. Well, Napoleon III, yes, Andrew, obviously. I mean, Napoleon III, he fucking led France for 50 odd years. Come on.
Stupid politicians.
Dumas, de Tocqueville,
still there.
Clemenceau. Those are literally the ones that are like the pre-order bonus. There's a pre-order bonus for this thing as well. Do not pre-order. I'm not going to waste my breath on talking about pre-ordering. If you want to see more about that, check out my recent video linked in the description about Victoria 3.
Has been doing a wonderful job collecting.
Yeah.
Alexandre de Molding.
There will not be a beta.
Dreyfus. That's a question. Have they added the Dreyfus affair?
Like another.
I bet they haven't.
Basically, there's too short of a.
No, I didn't say pre-order. I just mentioned it. Do not pre-order. Did my mic cut out when I said do not?
Those beta testers who have done a great job.
Pablo Picasso, maybe?
With feedbacking on this. But we did not have the time. We are hoping to have another open beta this year, though, but I can't say exactly when.
Yeah, no. Obviously, we do have betas, but yeah, but what I assume is.
Wait, they're gonna have a pre-order bonus for the DLC? Yes, there is. Unfortunately, it's like 3 specific characters are locked behind pre-ordering this DLC.
Oh, I hate that, man.
Actually,
that's so anti-consumer.
So, yeah, we won't be able this time, sadly.
I hate that so much.
So here we have like this question. So was repeated several times. Will other parts of the world, like neighboring provinces, be affected by the French buildings, like Sardinia, Savoy, or Quebec?
By the buildings?
I think I saw another, like if it was culture,
By the
like
buildings, who cares?
Another region will like if another region get the France.
Oh my God! They've added new buildings to France. Do they affect Quebec and Sardinia? Wow!
No.
Who cares?
Sadly,
No one looks at 99% of players don't zoom in and look at these buildings and go, whoa.
Discussed this a few times online because it's come.
Yeah, the 1% of Redditors who do that get the biggest voice and answers from the devs.
Geographically based, right? So the
Oh, he said based.
Guys, we listen to you, and we've done it. French buildings, the DLC.
Oh, and then there's the soy pointing back behind themselves. Oh.
The visuals and the game state logic are
Paradox really do love me.
in a way that's not possible right now.
They
It's
added
something that I would love to do, but it would
buildings.
also mean
I
that
mean,
it
visual
would
buildings.
slow
Buildings are the core
down
mechanic of
the
Victoria
exact
3 in terms of the
position
economy,
and
but
the
visual buildings.
cultural
Look, what the fuck? That city has an Arc de Triomphe.
game, so
Franche Comté has an... Besançon has an Arc de Triomphe.
All your people
Yeah.
talking about
Good job.
performance.
yeah.
Is there actually one there? Probably not, right?
No, it looked like it.
Did you see it? It was small. Might have
Yeah,
missed
I
it.
saw it.
Yeah. Also, for the French monarchy,
Does Paris even have it?
Multiple characters of your supported dynasty in government. Does the bar fill up faster?
Every French city has an Arc de Triomphe.
It's a binary
Oh.
state. Do you have this or do you not? And then it will tick. That's an
Filing cabinet 3D model
thing
when?
that we did.
Yes, let's go.
How did you guys decide which real-life historical figures were important
Oh,
enough
question.
to be agitators?
I will have to defer to Daniel Tolman, our lead designer on this, who
Neon DT.
Who isn't here?
Yep.
Oh, how convenient.
him and his team decided on the characters, but as far as I can tell, they basically took their encyclopedic knowledge of the history of and enumerated every single character in the world, and then decided who made the cut or not.
Wikipedia
That's what
knowledge.
I think happened.
So every single character in the world who was a voice of the people or agitator between 1836 and 1936. Do you know who that includes?
And so yeah, we have about.
I had a little fun moment about this on Twitter. Do you know who that includes?
That should all.
You
look
asking me
very
seriously?
similar to
Or is
the
it rhetorical?
candidates
It's both.
that have the right traits
It's a guy beginning with H, who should be in this game according to this DLC and its scope.
Thirsty fella in the chat. Can
I
we
know.
kill?
There should be a man from Austria who should be in this game.
Can we kill?
It's an agitator, a so-called voice of the people.
Decisions?
He comes to power in the time period of Victoria 3. So why isn't he in it, Paradox? And Michael just said that the designer on it took a list of all the people in this time period and cut people, so he cut out the H man.
However, you should know, especially if you're into modding, that the character interaction system is super duper moddable, and it will be.
I can see that Spudgun is only viewing live chat again. No, it says
thing to just say, oh,
the window I'm looking at is live chat. Wait,
I would
or
like to
or
target
top
you for
chat?
assassination.
You mean top chat? No, I am looking at live chat. At least I hope I am. It says it on my chat, so I should be seeing them all.
Not the old CK2
Yeah.
assassinate
Lenin
button.
is
If you have
okay
enough
with that.
gold, they die
I mean-
immediately.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's not exactly that.
It's not a great argument
But
comparing.
I mean,
It's
you
just
you could even.
they've decided that this bit of history is not brand friendly, which is not very respectful to the people who died
Yeah,
in
we
that
don't
piece
want
of
to go.
history.
I mean, the
And you can quote them multiple times as saying when they're referring to say slavery, they say things like, "Well, we're not going to shy away from the difficult issues in this time period, and we're going to portray them in a tactful and respectful way." And then when it comes to adding a voice of the people agitator in the 1936 era, actually, we're going to go back on that. Fuck it, we're not adding him.
A society simulator, right? So it's
Also,
there are
the
things
bald
that are
Italian
more
man
important
counts as well for that.
geopolitically.
But they've added Lenin.
One
because
thing
he's-
that
I
we
don't know.
have also, but I don't exactly know it right now. It's probably doesn't.
I don't want to get into some little argument tit for tat about, oh, if they're adding this guy, they don't add that guy. I just kind of find it funny. I'm not seriously advocating for adding any character that isn't added. I don't care. But it is just funny. That's the whole point.
Another country. That's another character interaction.
It's very commercialized.
But
It sort of goes to show that you're not actually trying to portray, like they're talking about society builder, and they're representing real world history.
quite in that level.
You know,
And I will
this is a
let
fantasy
you
game if you're not
answer
going
this
to
question.
include, you
The
know,
agitators are fully
least
moddable, right? So people can add
the most
their own
important
agitators.
political
Oh, heck
figures
yeah,
in
yeah, absolutely.
the time period that you're talking about.
For sure, for sure.
Uh,
Yeah,
Be like
I
if
mean,
Elizabeth I wasn't brand
Like the two
friendly,
two
so you
top
just
questions that
omitted
we
her
can
from the
answer
EU for
for Nerd.
yeah.
storyline
does
entirely.
agitators
And
show up
the
in
weirdest
last
thing
list
is
so
that
we can
they've
see
gone from mainly
most
French
available?
characters, but they have. Why did they add Lenin?
They don't.
Even why did they even add Lenin when it's mainly focused on
Interesting.
France?
That's very good. That's a very good question.
Draw the line
Personally
at just
thought
French
myself,
characters, and it's
"Hey,
pretty.
it would be
It's actually
cool
all
if I
right.
could see
They added
here if I
Lenin.
wanna pass
Did they
for
add Marx?
functions. Is there a guy
I think they.
available
I think he was
that,
already in the game actually.
That's been exiled. That I
Did
could
they
invite
add
in order to
Mao?
Get more support.
Mao.
That'd be a,
No.
that'd be a separate
maybe it's
10
something
cent
that
related
we will,
DLC immersion pack.
Oh god, that's another
is
issue.
Useful enough that we will
10
add
cent.
as a sort of quality of life feature later on. But it also, I don't know. it also feels a little bit like, because there's side effects to that. Right?
Oh, they had
Once
Sun
you
Yat-sen,
pass
that's
that law,
interesting.
he's going to want something else, right? So
They do
might
have
be
Rosa
better
Luxemburg. I
to
believe
sort of
she was
take
also in the
to
game at the
first
start.
and go, is there someone here whose ideology I agree with more in total? If that
The
makes
other
sense.
mustache
But yeah,
man
you
was not
can
up
be
to very much. Do you mean the Russian or the Georgian mustache
Is there
man,
anyone who
Stalin?
will start something here that I would support?
He, I guess, ought to be in the game as well. He did come to power.
Easier to do.
He's starting some sort of purges by this point, before 1936.
Because we're going. When do we go until?
I think that we should go on to at least quarter past, but I believe that we.
Yeah, you have 15 minutes left to go.
Yeah. Okay.
They're only going for another 15
while we do
minutes.
that
What a
then,
short
I'm
stream.
not sure that everyone
that started early.
We've made some changes to the way that we enact laws as well. So I wanna actually show this off. So I'm gonna take the opportunity here to give in to this movement and try to pass census suffrage. We see here that we have 45% success rate, and that is exclusively from the support of this movement. Nobody in government agrees with this. With this
Okay,
law
they
whatsoever.
added laws being able to be
And
passed
as
when
a
no one in
result,
government supports it, when there's a
some
movement to
of them
support it among
will
agitators and
actively work
people.
against it.
Okay.
The industrialists and landowners don't like
They didn't
this.
need to add that, they needed to fix war, is my point.
But we still have a higher success chance than a stall chance. So we're going to go through this one anyway and see what happens. And you'll see now that what we've done here.
Do they have Garibaldi?
is, it's no longer
I don't believe
like a
Garibaldi's in the
single
game.
percentage chance like.
Nah, look, the formation of
46%
Italy involved a couple of
passing this.
wars.
Instead, the clock ticks a little bit faster, but you have to go through 3 stages of getting successes here. And we found in testing that this
Is he in the game?
so much better.
I believe
You
he
get a
actually might be in the
clear
game.
sense of progress, and it works.
Is
around
Cavour in the game?
A number of exploits and just sort of bad feels when you have 95% chance.
Cavour should be in the game because he was a diplomat. He wasn't really war related.
Not doing it, and then you're back down to 50 or whatever. So in this case, we're in the referral phase right now. These are differently named, but they work the same depending on your government type.
Paul in the chat
So
predicts
the bill is
15
currently in
quid
referral.
Brothers of
That's gonna
Italy
go to
flavor pack.
drafting,
Someone
and
memorize that
then
or
we'll
screenshot it
vote.
because that's coming in
So
like,
we need 3
I don't know,
successful
let's
votes.
say 2
And
years.
we can also get
Expect the Italian
potentially
flavor
up to 3
pack or the
setbacks.
immersion
If we
pack
get
for
3
Italy.
setbacks,
Guaranteed.
then this will fail, and there will be a timeout or a cooldown of 2 years before you get a chance to do it again. And this can happen, for example, if the law fails or stalls, or if
Garibaldi is in the
if
game,
you
but he
get,
just shows
some
up as a
event
general
vouchers
by
as well.
event.
Sometimes you get the opportunity of
So,
trading
so
temporary
passing the
vouchers
law,
or
the
something
actual
like that.
mechanic, as I understand, is you click a
So
button
we'll see how that goes.
and you wait,
But for now,
and
these
then
guys are
RNGs,
appreciated,
yes or
and,
no,
hopefully
with your
that
success
means
rate.
that, yeah, our radical growth.
And then if you
is
fail,
slowing
you
down
just
a
get
little
timed
bit.
out and start again.
But also-
Like, where is the game plan there?
I
I don't know. They've overhauled that system completely
The
here.
line is going up, Mikael.
Yeah,
And it's weird
well,
because they've,
yeah,
well, just like
line or
Victoria
the red
too,
line is
they
going
created
up,
a
yeah.
catch-all system for passing laws when a lot of different
yeah, it's
countries
pretty
actually have
spread
unique
out.
ways of doing it. The British Parliament
Oh,
versus
we
the
did-
French
we totally forgot
systems,
from the government
multiple ones they
and
had,
everything,
the American
but
system.
there's nothing
I don't know.
actually better based on the election result. We had
I think a good route to go down for adding
LARP
LARP and flavor is to add different political systems for the countries,
Republican Union,
unique.
got the
institutions,
vast majority of the votes here. So
They
yeah,
haven't
this
done
is,
that yet.
We can see the distribution here actually. The Resistance Party
The revolution
is
back.
these guys,
That's good.
How is his name even
and the
not
Republican
automatically
Union,
deleted in the chat? Anyway, that's
are
what I'm concerned about.
right here.
I just scanned
So,
across.
you know,
I've looked at
because-
channel. It's just first thing I see is Hitler revolution back.
Wait, the Resistance Party is actually in power.
The Resistance Party is actually in power, yes.
Oh no.
They're resisting something. They're
No, I
resisting-
think if they added an immersion pack from him, they'd be directly competing with Hoi 4 too much, right?
But no, right. Okay, so we have the Republican.
The game,
Union
like
and the
the lines between Victoria 3 and Hoi 4 would blur a lot. But again,
But these
they
are
did
all
add
the-
Pacifica to the team,
Oh,
so
no, okay. That's a bug.
Do I need to step in? It's good for now
Can an
until people
interest
take
group
it too
start a
far.
revolution because they want the
We're all
law
just
to
joking
come
here.
out. So like they want to start a revolution, but you cannot.
The
really do anything
Resistance
about
Party.
the law
What is
because
this,
it's
Disney
because
style?
they-
The Resistance, the Rebel Alliance.
Yeah,
It's
that's
possible.
that's great. Fucking
It
chat's
is
doing well.
because of the time
Chat's
that
on
it
fire.
takes for a political movement to actually escalate to the point of revolution. It's usually something that's manageable, but there is a possibility for, especially with the new
Disney has
petition
more
system
war.
that we
Yeah,
have, that
true.
we also haven't quite talked about yet. That is where a
All right,
new
find the
government,
gameplay and the new petition
can
system. Here we go.
demand that something gets enacted, and if that law is just based on whatever they
That
want,
law is just
they feel like
based
we're
Michael
empowered enough
Anderson
to be able to do
2023.
this.
When
This is
referring to
definitely a
removing women's
situation
suffrage,
where
that law is
try to
based.
do
Says Michael
getting,
Anderson, developer of Victoria 3.
and you're not finagling things correctly, you're not managing your politics right, then yeah, that could fail, and there could be a cool down, and they could drop out of government and say, what's the point of being in government if I can't get my way? And you might have a movement or even a revolution on your hands. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, we're complicating politics quite a bit.
Which was
with
not
1.3
necessary. They needed to
update,
fix
but,
war the
I
rest of the
hope
game
you
before they did that.
I definitely feel like it's there's a lot more tools to manage it with, and interfaces even to sort of.
I'm
analyze
fucking
it with.
pumped.
So it's more involved for sure, but there's more buttons.
I can't wait to have a more complicated political
How
system.
do you feel? Do you feel like how he feels?
We are still.
Yeah!
Yeah, we have
Fuck
an
yeah.
advance event.
Artistic
So,
expressions. This
Victor Hugo again.
doesn't have the voice of the
A
people
popular
icon on it. I
French
don't know if this
newsletter
is even...
released a statement by
This is a
him
base game
endorsing
event
several
here, I
poets
think.
known
And
for
he's
their
pausing it to
rural
explain it.
folks' interests. Because of course the rural folk want this sense of
But it
self.
might be DLC.
This
I
is the
just
exact
culture stand
type of
behind
event that I'm
reform,
talking about.
which gives us a
I just click.
nice.
This one happens
Yeah,
to be
you-
done
you-
by a DLC character, Victor Hugo,
Or
though, I
we get
guess.
a bonus
You read this,
rural
right?
folk,
You read this
with
once or
higher
twice. I
approval
mean,
and higher
someone disagree with me if
attraction
I'm
to
wrong. You read
rural
this once or twice, and then
a
you just click on
slightly
this shit
smaller
away.
enactment success
You're
chance
like, that's
to go
interesting.
with.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. So we didn't get to advance this time to drafting, but we got a nice little bonus anyway. It's going to be easier next time, and of course, it's going to be easier for all 3 steps now, right? Because this
So, I mean, they're adding more stuff to do with politics, more stuff to manage.
and
And I guess,
the
I don't
rural
know.
folk will
I mean,
be
who
a little
cares?
bit
No one,
more
did anyone
powerful, but I
think this was a high
we can
priority for what they want in
turn off
Victoria 3 to
streaming
come back?
right now.
To claw back any of the hundreds of thousands of players who've stopped
Yes.
playing it? Do you think
But,
this is what they
but
wanted in
yeah,
order
those
to come back?
petitions that
I don't think
mentioned,
so.
They usually come into effect after.
Some people
shortly
might.
After you reform your government, so the new government.
And I'll be
comes in
paying
and
attention
have
to the
something
player
to
count
come to.
effect here, of
And
course.
Because I didn't reform the government, I didn't get the opportunity to get that.
Follow me on Twitter if you want to see
Now
my...
it's too late.
I'll-
Now I'm gonna get a bunch of
that's the
radicals
best place
that
I'll
want to
probably
try to
do some...
reform it, and I have
I'll
no
do some
options that are
player count
more
glances on there, I guess. You know,
anyway.
immediate reaction.
So, sitting government it is. The gamble. Here we have, yes.
I think this is another generic event. It's not got the voice of the people logo.
Can bring to our government. Yeah, details. How bad can it be?
Oh yeah, the first
so,
Paradox stream we did had the Ashkenazi
he
incident,
has
remember?
That was
he's a
great, yeah.
historical character. He's very old, and he has a neutral popularity right
Oh,
now.
your average potato in the chat says, I can't wait for the Book 1 DLC shill video. That's a whole other topic. Are there going to be sponsorships for this DLC?
That's
I am
getting
so
on, you know.
itching to wait. I'm itching to see that.
Yeah.
It's
I
the gift that
used
keeps
to
on
be
giving.
with
This
it.
stuff is hilarious. I
Now
hope
they
there is some...
changed what
That's right.
And will the
What
bee
to
man
with
do
it.
it himself? He
will
won't.
have
Nah,
to
surely
do.
not.
Yeah.
No way.
Here we progress to drafting. This is good. But yeah, this guy has negative popularity now, and he's quite old, so he's probably gonna get bumped pretty soon.
You wouldn't have,
Which is
Spud.
good. We don't.
But
want to
has anyone in the chat played a game called
and I just
Urban
want to give you a little
Empire?
heads up.
Came out
We've got
9
5
years ago.
minutes to go. So,
Someone in the chat must have played this game.
time to,
It has
to
like it's
get
like a
through
city
the things
builder,
you would like
sort of
to get.
society builder
Okay,
game
I
as
want
well.
to say we're going to be back next
Didn't
week. same
get
time,
reviewed very well.
for-
There we
for
go, some
more
people.
Voice of the people.
And the political
So,
system
yeah,
for passing
just
laws and
letting
that
you know
would
that,
be
that
Urban
it's
Empire is the
5
game.
minutes.
passing laws in that
next week,
game,
maybe
you
I'll
actually had to
remember
make
to actually
concessions.
start
There was like
researching
gameplay
something,
elements
before
to
3 years is
getting
up.
laws passed. It was
I
hard,
completely missed
and it
it.
was cool. Like that was
I've
probably one of the
just been,
coolest parts of
running my
an otherwise
university
pretty
on
disappointing
home
game.
on empty on
And that
few
came out
years.
9 years ago.
3 years. All right.
Yeah, let them have their time. You know, like university is a time
Wow.
for fun.
Yeah, another example
It's a
of a
great
game.
it's an example of a
Not
game
actually
that
make any progress.
has gameplay with passing laws.
Does stuff
Like an
better than
interesting
this
way.
already.
Yeah.
You know.
No. So
I'm just thinking about the
if I had
content
more time
creators, right?
right
So
now, I'd
imagine being a
probably
content creator who makes
going
real,
on,
genuine Victoria 3 content, like they're
Bulgaria,
interested in the game.
and try to deal
I'm
with
just thinking this is extremely
I
limited because what country are you going to play to play through this DLC? France. So every content creator that seeks to do a video on this is going to be playing France,
I should have done that with.
I
I think
guess.
Constantine is
And that's
right
just so limited, right? Everyone,
conquest,
like 10 new
but
France
Skara,
Let's Plays on YouTube.
is a better
That's just, I don't know.
subjugation.
It's limited as fuck.
You can always.
But Russian Camel in the chat summed it up correctly. They probably won't do sponsorship for this DLC because it's on the Flavor Pack. Paradox said a Mechanics DLC will come out soon after, and I guarantee, yeah. Because like I said, I even say it in the description, the one we're really waiting for that's going to make or break Victoria 3 is the $30 expansion, the big one. That is going to make or break it, in my opinion. Like I said in the video, this isn't it, this is smaller, this is an immersion pack. The big expansion is what we're really waiting for. This is just a bit of side banter that came out of nowhere, but the real DLC is coming.
But I do not have time to go through that in detail in the few.
And what do you think of that one, Piechucker, the $30?
We're gonna just pick
Yeah.
up from where we left off.
It's probably gonna be more than
I
that
think
for
so.
me.
I haven't quite decided. Like,
I wonder what they're
$40.
gonna. Could it be? Will they actually do war in this one, the big one, or are they still?
on the sides?
They're probably still scratching their heads, going.
Yeah.
They've just released this disaster of a war system. They changed it like 7 times during development, and they've seen the backlash to it, and they might still be scratching their heads, wondering what the fuck they do with it, even to this point.
Played so extremely suboptimally.
So they might not even touch it yet.
I'm
And
sure
you
you're
started
all
out as
freaking
such a tryhard, and then you just.
Yeah.
No, that's bad. But yeah, also remember, guys.
All right, I've seen you a
we
picture
might
of what
not
I'm talking
answer all
about,
your
Spud.
questions here in the chat.
Like that's how
We
in
always have
depth
the forum, and,
passing laws was in
Wow.
that game
Very active.
I'm
to
gonna put
individual
this-
members.
So go ahead, do that.
So probably not many of you guys are gonna be familiar with this game, but it had an enormous potential, and then it just unfortunately couldn't happen. But didn't work out very well.
But you can always
But this was how you pass
Just-
laws in the
I
game.
posted a link in the chat so people can look at what he's talking about.
Yeah. Have a look at that link in the chat.
Thursday, which is tomorrow.
That's a game that came out 9 years ago with a fraction of the resources that
It's
Paradox
Daniel
has.
again.
Neon
Neon
DT
DT,
wrote it.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be
Feels bad man says, Spud, you're coping if you think that war in this game will ever be reworked into something resembling an interesting game mechanic. The devs will double down ad infinitum. Well, I think my actual answer is I actually genuinely don't know what they're going to do with it. I don't know if they're going to double down or rework, because you say it would be coping to think they won't double down, but Paradox have their track record of completely reworking entire game mechanics to go with as well, remember? For example, Stellaris, reworking completely several times. So the track record is they might actually rework it into something different. They do initially double down, and they might even double down for like multiple years, but they will rework stuff eventually, right?
But like in a season pass kind of thing, you know, where
Depending
you can
on
buy a bundle.
Who gets hired and fired in the team, like Feels Bad Man mentions, Wiz left, yeah, that's true. But it does
With
happen.
that, I see Ben is standing here looking very stern, wanting to get rid of us. So yeah, thank you for today, and I'm sorry for.
Suzerain's a great
questions,
game. Your average potato.
that we missed. In the
Highly
chat.
recommend that game.
But
Very
yeah,
good.
Forum, ask questions forum, and come back to see us next week, next Wednesday at 2:15.
You know,
CEST,
let's not do it next
and we
week.
will
Yeah,
be
I think
back
we've
for
seen
more
enough, right?
Voice of the People. And I have been Björn. This is Mikael, game director. And with that, we shall leave it over to Ben and Nurgle again.
Are they doing something? Wait, are they continuing? Oh, they're continuing with other people, I think. It's not over. We're back.
I might be talking about something else.
Thank you, gentlemen.
They have a fucking Hearts of Iron 4 portrait in the background here.
That's fine. Okay.
Bit of a Freudian
Hello,
slip.
everybody, and I'm back. Benjamin Magnus here. So don't go yet. We have more. We are done with Victoria 3 for the day, but they will
Well,
be back next week.
okay then.
In just a few minutes, we are going to have Henrik from Paradox and Leonard from Triumph Studios. Well, not here. In
Oh
the
no,
studio,
is it one of their
but
indie
this one
games?
here. We'll have them both here playing Age of Wonders 4.
Yeah,
one
it's
of the final
something.
times before release, because that is
Incredible.
coming up real soon.
Gesticulating.
Yeah.
Hold on to your butts. We'll be right back.
If it was CK3, I might have stayed because that's got a DLC coming out soon, which I'm not getting, but I'm
Make your little leader. Fuck the unicorns.
Oh, I'll probably buy it, to be honest.
right. I'm gonna mute the
play it.
Paradox stream. Let's just turn the Paradox stream off. It's over. Right, we're done with them for today, and we can just chat. I'll get my music back on. Oh no, my music. Where is it? Let's get it. Carry the awkward silence by Piechucker while I get the music back up.
I accidentally closed out of the chat, so fucking I do the exact same thing. Okay,
My music's
I'm
back. It's fine. Awkward silence is over.
Okay, it's
So
over.
bad.
We've survived.
I don't know. We probably lost like 50 viewers from that.
Yeah,
but,
that's
we're back.
yeah. Sorry.
I mean, we are gonna wind things down a little bit on the stream now and go towards the end very soon. But we do have to analyze and chat. Hey, Phil McCracken. When I said people taking it too far by saying the H-man's name, just spamming it simply like that is taking it too far. There's no joke or funny thing behind that. You're just saying it. Okay, none of that. So when my chat updates, we'll see what people have been saying. Hold on to your butts, guys, says Frederick. Bye Bye Vic 3 was fun for 6 months. It lasted. What a horrible opinion. It wasn't fun for those 6 months. It was a bad game for 6 months. So where are we? I'm waiting for my chat.
You haven't played. I'm not trying to go on Urban Empires like for ages, but just real quick, I played Urban Empires. I actually bought it even though I saw that it had negative reviews because I was so interested. You know, I sort of anticipated it'd be a bad game, but I was so interested in that type of game that I haven't seen before. And when seeing Victoria 3, obviously it wasn't going to be ever anything like Victoria 2, but I was thinking, oh, maybe this will be like a good Urban Empires game. And then, I'd definitely be down for that. Like a proper, actual fleshed out mechanics where you have to convince people with different concessions and laws, like depth and gameplay. And there's just nothing. It's like percentage chance to mean time to event,
Yeah, you are right.
It's so it's like, I'm not trying to get like too animated about it, but it's so disappointing because a game like that would just be awesome, like even if it is Victoria 3, and it's not the game that we wanted, a game like that would be great, and it's just never really materialized.
Yeah.
Like somebody mentioned Suzerain, which is very story based. It's not really the same type of game that we're talking about.
And Victoria 3 adds their fancy buildings and their fancy 3D models, but it doesn't add any visualization of the politics side of it. They don't add a parliament. They don't add a Congress image, even a fucking portrait. Nothing. It's just your boxes and your menus for politics.
Take the Royal Court DLC for CK3 and turn it into a parliament, and then just slap it on Victoria 3.
Something.
At least you can have, unless you can have some gameplay.
But Palaya, thank you very much for the $5.50 Canadian dollars. What an awesome stream. Surely you'll be playing a bunch of this crazy new DLC on Twitch when it launches, right? I can't rule it out, because if someone wants to host a meme Vic 3 multiplayer where the host has the DLC for God knows what reason, and no one else has to buy it, and we get to experience it and piss take it, I'm down for that. But I'm not getting this. Hey, whoa. Oh, phew. Okay, the chat. Okay, it's fine. Nothing wrong there. It's fine. Whew.
Calm down. It's okay.
But someone actually did delete it. Well, whatever.
Good night to that person. Yeah, good night to that person who wrote 9.
False alarm.
False alarm. Not on my watch. You're firing at peaceful protesters. Yeah.
You violated the law.
Pay with your blood.
Paradox has fallen. Where have you been for the last, 7 years at this point?
That's it, guys. It's like that's the nail in the coffin for you.
That's the nail in the coffin. Fuck me.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that idea of just the person who's like, yeah, nah, oh, maybe. And then they watch that hour-long stream. And they're like,
You know,
it's over.
You know, Victoria 3 had a bit of a lackluster launch, but its first immersion pack will save it. Its first immersion pack. And then, you know, the colon, and then, yeah.
It's like the Pepe with the crying Pepe with the popcorn, like tuning in for the stream, just waiting for like.
Well, Manfuga, the first immersion pack. The first Steiner's immersion pack will put everything in order. Manfuga, they didn't add Steiner to the immersion pack as a character. His attack will not happen.
Where's in a top hat crying in the hallway?
Manfuga, they didn't add you in an immersion pack about voices of the people in the 1920s. What will you do if Paradox actually fixes War in the first big DLC? I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll be completely honest. If they actually fix War, then I'll be honest and praise it. But it's not going to happen. But if it does, well, I'm not just going to continue, you know. My opinions change when the facts change. So if they actually do something... But then again, there is also still the criticism of, even if they do fix it in an upcoming DLC, that the fact that you have to pay $30 to fix a pile of shit that should have been fixed on launch, there is that. But I can't criticize the mechanics if they fix them. But it's not happening.
I think there's a lot of things that... One thing, devil's advocate type thing with Paradox. A lot of things that get people riled up at Paradox about are just factors that exist universally in the video games industry that are not specific to Paradox. Like, video games journalism is terrible, and so consumers have very little information. You know, like Spud talking about in that video, talking about sales and things. That information is not readily available at all. You have to try and infer as a consumer to figure out any of this stuff. And so they're playing into a broken industry, you know, and you could make an argument that, you know, that's not ideal and that's, you know, to be criticized, but it's not Paradox specific.
Yeah. This is why I think the Steam review thing that happened on launch was so important, because the Steam reviews, I mean, not all the reviews are going to be fair and accurate or whatever, but it's a generally good place to go and grab some real opinions about the game that aren't, you know,
one of the only
journalism.
places.
Yeah.
I'd say one of the only places.
And that's why, in particular, that is why I celebrated so much when it dropped to mixed reviews, and I put out that video. That video of people celebrating when it dropped to mixed reviews wasn't just a little tiny meme. It meant a lot, you know. The people, the voice, the Steam reviews were the voice of the people. Well, anyway, yes, that's funny. The voice of the people. I think I should actually, you know, I should do one of those name sound alike memes where voice of the people DLC and then it's an arrow pointing to the Steam reviews.
Yeah, I think I'm just trying to think of it. What can you guys think of any alternate options apart from, you know, YouTubers who probably don't have any sort of media access, like Spud, you don't, you know, have you ever gotten a review copy for any game ever?
No, but it's not as if I've ever tried or cared to get one. Paradox wouldn't give me one because they blacklist me and hate me, but if I were to go around to other games, maybe, but I'm just not that interested.
Yeah.
I might have early closed beta access to fucking Grey Eminence. That could happen. I'm down for that. That could happen. Might be in the pipeline.
That could be cool, yeah.
That's not exactly a real big triple, double, single A. That's like an indie game sort of thing. But who knows?
I've been keeping my eye on that. Looks interesting.
I've heard some problems with it as well. I've heard people say that it's died down or whatever, but they released a trailer not that long ago. It looks like they're doing something and it'll come. And, you know. Review copy equals say good things about our game. Yeah, I wouldn't say that is a hard 100% always the case thing, but getting a review copy is something that lends itself generally towards it being a positive review. It sort of contributes to it.
For most of the time that I've been into games, I used to watch Total Biscuit because you could get great reviews from him about big games.
And that's why they killed him.
and that's why they killed
Sorry,
him.
that's an absolutely horrible joke.
That's a terrible joke, but it is good. And yeah, since then, I don't think there's been someone to fill in that gap who's big enough to still get review copies despite being very critical.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, yeah.
I'm trying to think of anyone who's really big and accurate and honest about games. You know that guy, the Act Man? I think he seems pretty, what do you call it? Like he's honest. I don't know if he gets review copies or anything, but that guy, he's a massive channel, and he gives honest, critical scrutiny of games. People might think he's soy or whatever, but it seems like he's honest at least, and he criticizes stuff. I don't really watch him now. He has integrity, I guess.
Yeah.
He's mainly to do with Halo, and I haven't played Halo since Halo Reach, so there you go.
I played a little bit of, what's the new Halo called? Halo Infinite. I played the multiplayer. It's not very good. It's a very bad netcode.
Oh well.
Which, I don't know. Yeah, it's like got desync issues and stuff. Which is like, I don't know. It gets depressing.
A 10 out of 10 on IGN, though, probably.
Yeah. It gets so depressing where it's like everywhere you turn, it's just like, it's just a disaster everywhere, you know? I remember playing Halo Reach. Oh, that was such a great game on Xbox Live. Halo Reach was the last good one.
Yeah, people say it's the last good one, but the reason it was my last one wasn't really because it was the last good one. I think I'd moved to PC gaming by the time or just after it came out or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's why I stopped.
I had an Xbox 360 and then I had a PC after that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my pipeline. I think, and it was the Total War games that got me into strategy first on PC. No, Warcraft 3.
I had a PlayStation 1 and then a PlayStation 2, and then I had an Xbox and I had a PC. What about you? Did you have an Xbox, original Xbox, or did you have a PlayStation?
Well, it's complicated. I think I quote unquote had an original Xbox, but I only had access to it on some days because it was I think my grandparents had it for me only at their house, and then my parents had a PlayStation 1. They also had a Sega Mega Drive thing. I can't remember. But my first one was an Xbox 360 that that I had way back when Halo 3, Call of Duty games on the Xbox 360. That was when I first gained sentience, when I hit hit the birthday where you gain sentience. Before that I can't remember what I had, if I had anything.
I've got a good original Rome Total War story. So I played way too many computer games when I was a little kid. Surprise, surprise. And my dad had installed something, I think it was called Watchdog, and it basically was like a thing that would log you out of the computer after a certain period of time. And originally it was like you got a couple hours a day or like an hour a day to play like Rome Total War, which was the game that I loved. And then he'd set it, I think he was trying to teach me a lesson. He set it to weekly. And so I think I got like 6 hours or 7 hours, and I just played Rome Total War for 7 hours, and then I couldn't play for the rest of the week. And it was like just a devastating lesson to get as a kid.
It was supposed to be an hour a day, right?
Yeah,
and then you did it all at one sitting.
Yeah, no, it's just a devastating life lesson.
I'll tell you
Just
what,
6 days.
Time Splitters. Oh. Time Splitters 1, 2, and 3. On the PlayStation 2. Original Lego Star Wars, there you go. That's good.
Crash Bandicoot, Crash Bash,
Crash
Team
Bandicoot.
Racing. Oh, with the mates coming over for sleepovers. What about Castle Crashers? Is Xbox 360 classic?
I can't remember that. Some games I remember.
Did you ever play Army of Two, Spud?
Yeah, played it with my
that was a
dad.
good game. Yeah, no, that's solid. That's a great father-son experience, right? Playing Army of Two. That game was awesome. I played it with my best mate, and it was such a great game. Because with the aggro system, that was so cool. I remember getting that out from the video shop, renting it.
Oh, Mercenaries. Oh my God, Mercenaries. And then Mercenaries 2, which I played, but not as much as the first one. Mate, have you ever played Mercenaries?
I've never played that game. Tell me about it.
Fucking hell, it was so good. Can't even explain. It's like open world, third-person shooter. Mercenary in the Korean War, open world, getting contracts from like 4 different factions. and the main enemy were the North Koreans. But you could wage war against any of the factions, and you'd have like a reputation system. You could try and repair your relations, do contracts for them. Oh my god, that's United Nations vehicles. Oh,
I'm gonna check out a classic Piechucker deep cut. And I don't think anybody's gonna get this. Did anybody play Bladestorm: The 100 Years War?
Never heard
Came
of
out
it.
in 2007 on Xbox. And it was such a fucking outstanding game. It was like you commanded armies and shit in 100 Years War, and you played as like the Black Prince. Bladestorm was class. That game was just outstanding. Oh, yeah, fucking that's a deep cut right there. One person.
At least you got one person. Like, it's fine. One person.
Yeah, that's all I care about. I never get you though, Spud. I don't think.
Well, we had Army of Two.
Yeah, it's the generational gap between the two of us.
I mean, I know these ones are obvious, but then the Call of Duty games. My
Army of Two
first
is
one,
actually a good point.
my first Call of Duty was called COD 4, and then I played them all up until I missed out on Black Ops 2. So I got those every year up until Black Ops 2, which I didn't play.
Exact same for me. Exact same. And the one that I played probably the most was World at War.
Yeah.
And then probably second most was Black Ops 1. I loved both of those games.
Yeah. Zombies.
World
Well,
at War.
I've quite literally
War.
played COD Zombies on stream with people nowadays, or last year. Like the,
Yeah, so they sell all the games for full like retail price. So it's like I looked back, so I was like, I'd love to play Black Ops 1, but they're still selling it for like $100. You know, and that's not, and then all the DLC would cost you like $200 to buy Black Ops 1.
I could dig out, if I go to my parents' house, I could dig out my old Xbox 360 and still play them on the fucking physical copies, and yet they're asking me to buy them full price again on Steam to play them on PC.
Yeah, $200 or something like that. It's outrageous.
Someone mentions Ruse. That I remember hearing about it. I never actually played it. In terms of strategy games that I played on Xbox 360, Halo Wars. But strategy games don't really go too well. Civilization Revolution, Civ game.
God, I loved that game, Spud. Great pick. I loved that game. That was the first Civ game that I ever played, was Civilization Revolution.
Yeah, same.
And I played, I don't know if you remember, but they had the weekly challenge. And I used to, there was like a massive competitive streak between me, my dad, and my sister would all do the weekly Civilizations Revolutions challenge on the Xbox. And I'd always come last. Always just got completely destroyed. Because I was always like a science victory type guy. You know, so it's like just taking too long.
Maybe we should do another Civ 5 or 6 community game at some point. Maybe.
I love Civ 5. I've tried to play Civ 6. But I've got a mate who's teaching me, and he's one of those guys who he's like a teach with a hard fist, you know, teach brutally, you know, by mistakes. So it's hard to play with this guy.
Didn't play any of the older Civ games. First one was 5. Didn't even play it that much, and then I got 6, which was okay. Don't really care that much for it, but it's pretty good.
I only just got 6. I played a ton of 5. And I played a ton of Civilizations Revolutions. Anybody play Fable?
Fable
Fable
2? Didn't play the first one. Or maybe I went back to it. I played 2 and 3.
Both were good. Fable 2 had cool multiplayer. Again, you get your mate around for a sleepover and play tons of Fable 2. And you could be a villain. I think that's what I remember. Fable 2, you could be a total Fabler's old Dan. Yeah. When Peter Molyneux was a beloved man.
There's all sorts of other ones, like way back in my life, but I just can't remember them. But if someone were to say them, then I would go, oh yeah, I remember
That's
that.
what I'm trying to do for you, Spud, all the time. I'm trying to pull out these deep cuts for you.
And I played loads of PlayStation 2 ones, so if anyone name drops some PlayStation, well, there's obviously Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2.
Ah, classic. Anybody play Geometry Wars?
No.
No? Somebody has to say.
Ratchet and Clank,
Toy Soldiers.
Toy Soldiers, don't
that's
know.
a great game. Toy Soldiers was like tower defense, kind of like tower defense, if I remember right. And you could go into like all of you'd set up like a little battlefield and try and defend against the invasion. And you could go into like the Gatling guns and manually shoot. Oh, Toy Soldiers was great. Nobody for Geometry Wars though. No,
No.
not one soul.
No, no. Well,
I
Pellington,
didn't
I
play
already
that.
mentioned Halo Wars 1, definitely.
Yeah, I played a ton of Ratchet and Clank, but I never played Jack and Daxter.
Actually, something I was just thinking of yesterday. I used to have a PlayStation 3 as well, and I used to play this game, Little Big Planet. Is that it?
Ah.
Yeah.
I think that's a PlayStation exclusive.
It was or is, but I heard that it might be coming to PC. They also did a 2 and 3 that I never played, but Little Big Planet was fucking brilliant because
That was great. Yeah, you could make your own levels.
making your own levels. So you had a main campaign which was just like a great, solid, fun platformer, but then you had all the customization, which was fantastic. I played that with friends. I tried to make my own little Spore. Someone said Spore. Yes.
Played tons of Spore. Yeah, Spore was great.
Not a lot of
Spore
people know
gets
Little Big Planet.
Spore gets a bad rap. No, I know Little
Yo,
Big Planet.
when does the Paradox stream begin? That came and went an hour ago. Sorry.
You really didn't miss much from me.
This has turned into a podcast. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just reading chat. I feel like out of your audience, I mean, you've probably seen the analytics. I feel like we'd be in the older third, right? I feel like how old's your what is the range? Is it 18 to 24?
I can't remember what it is. I've posted it before. Yeah, we're like the medium or
Yeah.
mean age, whatever. One of those, the 20s, mid-20s, early. But then there is a whole thing where young people have to fake their age on YouTube and that. So there's some parts of it that aren't accurate stats. Did you ever play Victoria 1? No. Still to this
No.
day, and it's potential content I could milk as well, because people like Victoria on my channel, funnily enough. So I could get some views for Victoria 1 if I played it.
Command and Conquer Red Alert. You play that?
No, I don't know. I missed
It
out
had
on some games.
It had Tim Curry, it had George Takei, and it had what's the name of the guy?
I was busy
Whiplash.
playing Warcraft 3. I missed out on some other strategy
Who's
games.
the Whiplash angry guy? The Peter Parker's boss.
Oh.
You're hired.
Oh,
What's his
God.
name? J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, like J.K. Simmons, it's all like video acting, and J.K. Simmons is the leader of the Americans. Tim Curry is putting on a Russian accent, and he's the leader of the Russians, and George Takei is the leader of the Japanese, and it's just amazing. If you never play that game, Spud, you should look up Command and Conquer Red Alert, all of the cinematics, because they're just incredible. Like there's like Tim Curry breaks in most of them, like he's just cracking up because it's just so stupid.
Lord of the Rings games.
Conquest. Oh yes, I remember that one.
I played one of them that was a sort of like a Battlefront version but with Lord of the Rings. I played that.
Yes, they're saying it. I'll go to the one place not corrupted by capitalism. Spies. He says it in like the weirdest way. Oh, so good.
What else is there? There's
Let's
loads of
change the
things.
stream to watching Red Alert cutscene. Seriously, Spud, that's some fantastic content. Do you
For
like
me as well,
RTS
actually,
games?
on the Xbox 360, well, like I said, in terms of, I missed out on a lot of RTSs back in the day, because the ones I did were Warcraft 3, and then into Civ Revolution on the Xbox 360 and Halo Wars. And then I went to PC and found Total War and then Paradox. To sum it up very briefly, I think is my pipeline. But you also had, what was I going to say? On the Xbox 360, it's when I got into Oblivion. Played that loads. And then you got the fucking Shivering
too.
Isles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Skyrim came out many years later.
Do you remember the moment where you attack, what's his name, Sheogorath, Gorath, and he teleports you way up into the sky?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That's such a great moment.
I missed
remember
I
just
missed
shitting it as a
Morrowind.
kid when I was
I missed out on
Yeah.
Morrowind, unfortunately.
I missed out on. I kind of got to Morrowind after Oblivion because my mate was super into it, and I didn't play all of it. And it was like I'd just rather play Oblivion, which is sacrilegious, I know.
Yeah, but I got all of that. I got all of my Elder Scrolls fix out of Oblivion. I missed Morrowind, and I played Skyrim when it came out, but not as much as apparently everyone else who's obsessed with that game.
I'm the
I liked
exact
it though.
same.
Don't get me wrong.
I played a bit of Skyrim. I haven't played any of the DLC or anything, but
I never
something magical about Oblivion.
I never give a fuck about the dragons. I don't I don't care. I don't really like that sort of fantasy that much.
Yeah,
So, but in Oblivion Gates and all that shit was captivating for me.
that's so cool. Yeah, with the big thing wheeling towards like the very final mission. Also, Sean Bean as fucking whatever his name was, Martin. I think
Martin.
It was. Yeah,
Martin
Sean Bean.
Anward.
And I love how they blew the entire voice acting budget on what's his name? Star Trek. Patrick Stewart.
Was he in
The
it?
guy who's he's Uriel Septim.
Really?
I've seen you. Yeah, and like they blow it on that.
I didn't even know that.
2 hours of content. Patrick Bateman, thank you.
Patrick Bateman. But then the Imperial Guard guy who does all the Imperial voice acting carried it though.
Yeah.
As you know, those guys that did the parodies of Oblivion voice acting showed the Imperial Guard voice acting. What is
They
that guy?
got Sean-
Oblivion 2, Oblivion 3, Oblivion 4.
Yeah, they got Sean Bean, and then they got Patrick Stewart, and then they got 3 other voice actors. That's all they could afford.
Yeah.
And they also, I think, what's the Bethesda guy's name? They got him to voice act a character as well.
I don't know.
Bethesda main dog.
The main guy.
Yeah.
The It
Everybody
Just
guesses
Works guy.
It Just Works guy, maybe.
Todd
Howard. That's
Howard.
it. Yeah.
God Howard?
Yeah.
Are you sure? I had no idea that Patrick Stewart voiced Uriel Septim though.
Yeah, that's so iconic. I remember loading up Oblivion for the
so
first
few
time.
lines.
I would have been. The lines though, Spud, are outstanding. When he goes like, "These are the end." Well, fuck,
What the one where you go into a room with him and you're frozen still as an assassin crawls out of a wall and he goes, "Ooh."
No,
Oh,
everything before that. No, like I don't know if you remember, but when Oblivion starts, they've got the opening cutscene where it's like camera going around Imperial City, and at that time there was no graphics. You remember, there were no graphics like Oblivion. It was like nothing you'd ever seen before. And then you've got the amazing Oblivion soundtrack in the background, like the dum dum dum, and you've got Patrick Stewart going, "These are the last days of the Third Age, and the last moments of my life," and then it zooms in.
That's true.
On the prison, and it's chills. It's chills. They're multiplying.
When you had that dark elf across the prison.
Oh yeah, and every time you're a different race, he disses you in a different way.
If it was Paradox who did that, then the dissing of different races would each be a DLC.
Oh, it wouldn't be.
Or each race would be a DLC.
No, that would be. He would be removed as a character because it would be a racially motivated attack.
Verticalo asks, have you ever thought about becoming a game developer? No, but yeah, I'm making OpenVic 2. It's all me. That's completely me. There's not another team of great people and experts that are doing that, and I'm not a game developer. That's not the case. But no.
Dark Elf racism DLC. Mid-20s boomers. That's us, bro.
I guess.
I don't care. I don't care. I love all these games.
They are objectively better than what's on offer nowadays.
It's
You
not
can't
even close.
disprove that.
You could go to EB Games. I don't know what your game store. Isn't it just called like? What
Game.
Isn't the UK?
There was
it's called
multiple.
Game.
There was one called Game, but you also get games in HMV, which was mainly a music shop, record shop.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I remember all the places that would have games set up, like a console set up, that just members of the random public could go and play a game. Holy shit. I remember doing that.
We had EB Games.
My
which
dad
is
would
the main one.
my dad would take me to the game shop and all that, and he would have to drag me away from playing the games in the shop.
Yeah. We had EB Games, and we had Harvey Norman, which is an Australian company, and you could play the games at Harvey Norman. You couldn't do it at EB Games. And we had the warehouse, which is where you'd get like the cheapest. Like they'd have a bin of games, and you'd just get all the shitty games.
We found back in the day, we found that you had the game shops, but you could also get games for slightly cheaper from fucking Asda and Tesco and the supermarkets because they had a little section with them. I'm pretty sure we got some Call of Duty games or whatever cheaper there.
Yeah. The warehouse was our version of that. You couldn't get it in the supermarket. You could get DVDs in the supermarket. I always thought it was weird. Getting like a DVD copy of, naturally it's like the Lord of the Rings or something. It's like, who's getting like their groceries and thinking, fuck, I can really
Catalyst showed up. Catalyst showed up exactly when I mentioned OpenVic 2. And he's the community
He's been
manager.
summoned. It's been
By the way,
sudden.
that's what's coming up next on this channel. My next video is actually going to be an update on OpenVic 2, which is a sort of separate issue from everything we've been talking about today. So that'll just come when it comes. There's interesting stuff happening there. Great stuff.
I can't get over the fact you could buy Call of Duty at Tesco. That's crazy.
No, not you could buy them, but you couldn't play them there. Like,
I know, but at the supermarket. Well, do they just sell groceries and then Call of Duty as well? I mean, what's the story?
no, the supermarket, they sell a bit of everything. They're mainly groceries, but they also have their home appliances section, magazines, books, a bit of everything, and then they'd have some games.
They're all separate stores for us because I suppose we're too small to have big ass.
Battle Stations Midway, and then I didn't play the Pacific follow-up. Battle Stations Midway was great.
Battlefield 1942. Also Ace Combat. Did you play Ace Combat?
Yeah,
The
I
plain
played
one?
the Battlefield games that I played were Bad Company.
Bad Company 1 and 2.
Yeah,
I played, I got a story about Bad Company. I played the Bad Company demo like maybe 200 times in a row because I originally played the Bad Company demo and asked my dad if he could buy it for me. And he said no. And then I just tried to look as sad as possible playing the Bad Company demo over and over again. And then eventually he just got sick of hearing the same voice lines from Bad Company. You know, I'd just start saying the script because I'd played the demo so many
I'll tell you
times.
another game I wasted some of my childhood on, and that was RuneScape. I played that,
Oh,
so
me too. And then I moved to World of Warcraft.
I never did play World of Warcraft. I missed that as well. I missed out on so much in my childhood.
That's a big message.
I missed
right?
out on
That's a
World
big
of
miss.
Warcraft. Oh well,
That's it.
too bad.
Age of Empires 2, good. But yeah, missing out on World of Warcraft.
I don't
is a
feel
big
bad about missing out on World of Warcraft because you don't really know what you missed. I know people always talk about how great it was, but
It
I
really
wasn't
was
there,
quite
so I
special.
couldn't really know.
Yeah.
I was content with the shit I was playing, so
Yeah.
you know, I'm fine.
Yeah, well, I went Twist the Dagger. It was shit anyway. Don't worry.
Okay, thanks. No, you're making me. That's how you make me feel bad about it.
Age of Empires 2.
I never
is
played
fine.
Pokemon games. Someone mentions
No,
Pokemon
I've
games.
never played a Pokemon game. Me neither.
I'm not a weeb. Never was. I was against them then.
I've never had like a Nintendo DS or anything. Did you ever have like a handheld, like a
Yeah, it was the
PlayStation
PlayStation. I had the PSP, the PlayStation Portable. That was my handheld game. And I
never
played
had
like
it
I
either.
remember a Harry Potter game on that. Early Transphobia.
I remember.
Joking.
Yeah, laid the foundation there. I remember like seeing my mates play like Crash Team Racing on their PSPs, and I'd be playing Bounce on my Nokia phone. You know, just like playing Snake.
Burnout Paradise was name dropped. That was legendary.
Oh, absolutely legendary game, that one.
Half the
Incredible
enjoyment
game.
was loading up and listening to Paradise City, starting up, playing the game with that. What a legendary game!
They also had they had so many good songs on that soundtrack actually, and also it was so much fun because I think in Burnout Paradise you could crash, and then it would like wipe you out, and you'd get a cool slow mo.
There was an entire slow-mo mini game where
Yeah,
your burning wreckage the goal was to like bounce around and destroy as many other cars as possible, and keep that going until you ran out.
I
Like
played.
holy fuck! Who comes up with that? Nothing like
Yeah,
that
it's-
nowadays.
Yeah, Warband. When did you start playing Warband? I started playing
Well,
Warband
late.
on my laptop, and maybe like 2013.
I say late. I
Like-
think I actually started playing Warband in 2012
Yeah, probably around the same time, maybe a bit earlier. But
when
I've
Napoleonic Wars.
only ever played. I never played any multiplayer because I didn't have a legal copy, and I only ever played the Game of Thrones mod. I played like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of that.
Will Bannerlord ever be as good? Speaking of that, the Napoleonic Wars for Bannerlord is improving and it's coming to a state where events might happen. I think I've heard. So that's actually good.
Yeah, the mods will get better, but Bannerlord will never be as good because they've said that they've released it now, so they've sort of given up a bit on
Maybe.
finishing it.
Anyway, we need to turn this into an actual podcast at some point. We're sitting on a gold
Yeah.
mine
Yeah.
and we're just wasting it here on this thing about Paradox, and they're. How could we go from all those games we just talked about to Victoria 3 in the modern day?
I know, it's depressing. We should do this more often. Just chit chat, yarn.
I need to find a way to do that. We also have the open TTD streams, where we sit there for hours, but
yeah,
we'll
but
find
that
a
gets very
way.
quiet. That gets very quiet because people are concentrating and stuff. And also, it's like you got to keep in mind this is 1 o'clock, nearly 2 o'clock in the morning for me. This is prime time, Piechucker. You
Yeah.
guys are normally getting me at like 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. It's just brutal,
Yeah, Piechucker, and you're going to go to sleep very soon, Piechucker, and you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. We're doing open TTD.
Are we
No,
seriously
no, I'm joking.
Far out. You gave me like that. No, I was like dreading that. Oh, isn't it on? Wait, when is it? We have rescheduled it.
We're doing it on your Saturday morning, my Friday instead.
Easy peasy.
Fake news mentioned Volard from the Total War ranting games. I've heard of him, never watched. I don't have that much interest in Total War nowadays anyway, so good luck
me
to him.
neither. I think the last Total War game I played a bit of was Rome 2.
The thing I've heard about Volard is that he's gone completely all out on just constantly attacking and shitting on the company. I do that to Paradox, obviously, that's kind of what we did today. But I'm also balancing it out with positive stuff, i.e. normal Victoria 2 good content. And then there's the small issue of open source recreation of the entire game. You don't see Volard doing an open source recreation of Total War, do you? I'm balancing it out with positive things, is my point.
James Paul has said, I love Shogun 2. Did you ever play Total War Shogun 2?
A little bit. I mainly did Empire.
I built my first PC specs to that game. That's what I saved up for. I looked up at the Total War Shogun 2 for the Samurai recommended specs, and I saved up all my pennies to buy that.
Wow. Someone in the chat says it's pretty obvious that you appreciate Paradox considering you play their games and enjoy them. I do appreciate their older games, and I appreciate them as a company for making those things, I guess, before. But it's just a simple case of they used to make good games that I enjoy, and now somewhere they went astray and they make bad games. So in a way, I appreciate them.
I think there's some distaste as well in terms of like things like EU4. That used to be, in my opinion, it's obviously very subjective, but that used to be a good game, and now it's so bloated. I can't even bring myself to open up. It's my most played game on Steam. I think I've had so much fun playing multiplayer with my friends in that game, and it's just so inaccessible to like. I remember my cousin bought EU4, and he asked me to teach him, and I spent like 2 hours doing it, and I gave up. And he refunded it. It was just such a nightmare to try and teach someone how to play that game.
Yeah, bloat is the number one word to criticize EU4. Definitely.
Yeah, big time.
Someone says insert Paradox Dark Age edit. And Paradox Dark Age, there's so much content, negative content towards Paradox that could be made, but no one does it, and I'm like one of the only people. Like, someone should go and make a fucking Paradox game Dark Age edit. I don't want to have to be the one to do it. And also, someone needs to make a video essay about how Paradox completely shits on history with Victoria 3. I'm not going to do that either. We need a video essayist, and we need a Dark Age editor. And those aren't me. We need more people.
We do.
Someone else can do these things. Come on. What is Paradox doing good? Stellaris? I don't know. I haven't played it enough to know if Stellaris is actually going well. I guess Hoi 4. I don't play Hoi 4, but I think they've done good things with Hoi 4. You can see from the player graph. It speaks for itself, like I showed in the video.
Dark Age editor, what a job title, very true. I think Hearts of Iron 4, in my opinion, is
Paradox Jobs. You know those memes, Jobs then versus Jobs now. Paradox Jobs, Community Manager, Relations Manager, Quality Analysis versus Jobs now, Dark Age Editor.
Yeah, OpenVic 2.
Video essayist. To be fair, Community Manager is an OpenVic 2 job, and it's Catalyst's job. He might still be here.
You're old when you remember Hearts of Iron 4's political unity. That game didn't come out that long ago, right?
Yeah, it was only 2016, mate.
Yeah. exactly. I played that on launch.
Some other things happened in 2016 as well. Come on,
Yeah.
they weren't that long ago.
No. What things?
Like, there's probably people reaching teenage years now who were born when Trump was president at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, hey guys, I'm 14. I was born when Trump was president. What the fuck? Nah, surely not.
Yeah. My brother, who was born in
We're old.
2005, just turned 18. It was just staggering. It's like that doesn't seem right.
2005. I'm
Yeah,
actually
2005.
I'm coming around to the idea of people being born in the early 2000s reaching a sort of age of maturity now. I'm coming around to that. It's not so jarring for me anymore. I'm getting used to it.
2002 and stuff like that. Yeah, but 2005.
5 is maybe pushing it a little bit.
Yeah, it's pushing it a little bit. Not much, but a little bit.
Shrek came out 22 years ago.
22 years ago. When did Shark Tale come out? I remember playing the Shark Tale PlayStation game, and that was fucking outstanding. Seriously, that Shark Tale computer game was
What about
really
The
good.
Incredibles? When was that? Because there was actually a PS2 game for The Incredibles that was amazing.
Shark Tale was 2004.
Anyone in the chat know The Incredibles PlayStation 2 game?
Let me look it up. Actually,
That was really good. No one know it? Come on. Oh, my music, hold on. We need to wrap this up soon though.
Oh yes, I have played this. This is a great game. Oh, this is actually very nostalgic. Sounds like a meme game. Are you an older millennial or a young? That you'd be a young millennial or an older Gen Z. That doesn't make sense.
I don't know.
You were born when? 96?
97.
97? Yeah, you're Gen Z, I think.
I think
that's the cutoff.
people born in 2000 are pretty lucky because you can easily know your age from what year it is. that
Yeah.
sounds like such a stupid thing to say. But when you get older, you start to lose track. Genuinely,
You do. Yeah.
you lose track of the year it is and your age. Whereas if you're born in 2000, you can tie them both together. You're like, boom, it's 2023 and I'm 23. Boom, easy,
Yeah.
and you'll go far in life.
Yeah, I turned 24 a couple of weeks ago, and I swear my 21st birthday party was 6 months ago. It's it just flies by.
I know. I whenever I feel like I'm getting old and all that, I think, no, I'm 26. Look, you're in your prime. I'm in my prime. It's true. I'm still clinging on to my prime.
Physical prime.
Yeah. Mental prime is still to come.
Yeah.
Twitch Prime is not active right now because we're on YouTube, so fuck that. Super chats though. We haven't had any super chats in our podcast section, which is why I feel like we're sitting on a gold mine. Because if we actually do a podcast separately, then we can get super chats for that. But we've already had all the super chats about Victoria 3. So.
People have been saying that a long time as well, Spud.
Saying what? For podcasts? Yes, I know.
Yeah, for podcasts, yeah. Where's 1999 gang?
But I feel like people just sitting talking about old games and stuff must be a type of podcast that's done to absolute death, though, right?
Yeah, they're not us.
It's not us, but
We're a pretty unique combination.
it worked. It worked. I got one. Thank you, James, for the $10 super chat.
A Scottish, an elder statesman, a Scottish millennial in the prime of his life, and then a young Gen Z Kiwi. So bubbly,
Optimistic, idealistic.
optimistic. Yeah, whole life ahead of me, skipping down the street.
Speaking of it
Yeah.
being your birthday 2 weeks ago, we played Open TTD on your birthday, in your morning, early morning on your
Yes.
birthday. Which map
Yeah.
was that again?
It was Game of Thrones, I think.
That was the Game of
Yeah,
Thrones
and
map.
you guys fucked up my whole train tracks. You're like, happy birthday. You fucked up.
That
my
was
whole
only in
company.
the end game after we were
Yes,
done.
yes, it was at the end.
BG was a Warcraft 3 kiddie, me too. I played that so much. Played all the custom games. Azeroth Wars, Footman Frenzy, Island Defense, Alternate Future, what
Hide
was
the
it?
King?
World War One. No,
What was the one where you had your
loads
king?
lots of map titles that I can't repeat on YouTube, of course, as well.
Wait, the two that I remember really well is obviously Dota, and I remember the one where it's hide and seek, and you hide your king, and they come and find you, or you're like a sheep, and they come and find you, and it's a big map, and you have to hide around. You ever play that? Also, there was the tower
Yeah.
defense one. What was that one?
There was
called?
there were loads of tower defenses. That tower defense is a genre of Warcraft 3
Yeah.
map.
Yeah.
Also,
was
there were so
great.
many good zombie defense maps, holding off some eras, zombie invasion, all these maps.
StarCraft 2, yeah. StarCraft 2.
I
was
never
awesome.
played that.
Stronghold 2. Now we're talking. Stronghold Crusader is a great game. You'd like that game, I think, Spud. People always say that stupid shit about. Yeah, they say it about you and I. Not
Say
gonna
I'm
lie,
old.
first of-
Also, James, thanks again for your super chat. You also mentioned me streaming CK3. I just did a massive CK3 stream on Sunday on Twitch, which is now on my second channel, The Archives. The Game of Thrones mod in CK3 multiplayer with 80 plus players.
I was gutted. I missed
That
that. I watched a bit of it
So,
just before I had to go to work.
so that happened.
Yeah, that looked amazing. Like that
It
actually
was.
looked like a hell of a lot of fun.
It had some instability because of the high player count. It's not as if the instability makes it impossible to play though, because when we did get playing, the main problem with the number of players is herding all the players into the game. Once it's actually going, you can just play it. You can even go up to speed too. And then when we did play it, it was hilarious and fun, and Dino Stan was there, and it was brilliant. And I'm going to continue that next Sunday live on Twitch at about 6 p.m. GMT, no, British Summer Time, 7 p.m. Central Eastern European Time.
Sunday.
I don't know what time.
You're a villain. You're a villain. For
Sorry.
doing it on Sunday.
Monday mornings for
Yeah,
Piechuckers.
Monday business day. You know, got to get up, handle business. Got to run my Fortune 500 company.
Taggy McShaggy says £5 super chat. Not much podcasts about games anymore. What have people? Have all the gaming podcasts? Wait, I'll let it hit. Texas.
Optional podcast was the Total Biscuit one. That's the only one that I listened to.
Have all the gaming podcast nostalgic 20-year-olds gone on to becoming alt-right political podcasts? Is that what it is? Is that the
Yeah.
pipeline?
Yeah, they were
Maybe there's a
done-
market
they were-
we can move into that they've all moved out of.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, there isn't actually that much. I think that could be fun.
I mean, I don't know because it's not a kind of content I ever search for or watch myself, so I don't really know what's going on there. Yeah, what I'm concerned about, like Valentin says, is retro size. You know, big, large people, beards, glasses. No offense to people who actually look like that, but it's like a sort of stereotype that's a joke. It's not entirely all true.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. Star Wars figurines in the shelf behind you. Nah, that's not me. I feel like that's the sort of thing you'd be getting into if you start doing gaming podcasts.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to do necessarily a gaming podcast. We could just do a stream of consciousness type thing.
That's true.
Also,
That's,
we do quite poorly when we try and plan shit. If we're going to be honest, I mean, when we tried to
Yeah.
plan Victoria 3 discussion
No,
streams, I mean,
look,
we did our best. We did
half of
admirable
these,
effort.
the problems with these are down to paradox. Like, what was this even today? Let's actually, how many, like about an hour since they stopped streaming and we just went off on a tangent. Let's go back to the actual topic at hand. What even was Paradox's schedule for their stream today? They announced it
20 minutes
yesterday.
early. Yeah.
I feel like the vibe of it was that the two people streaming it, Michael Anderson and I believe the other guy was Bjorn, the vibe of it was like they got let out of their fucking cage to go into the streaming room to be allowed to stream for an hour, and then they were brutally get back to fucking work. And that, to be honest, after the game they released, that's how they deserve to be treated. No, I'm joking.
Wait,
They are humans with dignity and they deserve workers' rights.
The guy gesticulating as well when he came back in. You know, like, did you ever play Monkey Island?
No.
Oh, somebody's played Monkey Island. There's a used car salesman in Monkey Island, the puzzle game, and he flails his arm around while he's talking. It reminded me of that guy. Someone in the chat's gonna go, oh, and it's gonna come together. It's gonna be perfect.
I remember some game with some animation that I remember. No, I don't know.
Douglas MacArthur, he has returned.
It's actually nice to come back and stream on YouTube and see the YouTube streaming people turning up. Like Douglas MacArthur's
Yeah.
always supported, Pelaya, and loads of other people.
Member for 6 months, agricultural RGO DLC called Seed and Feed Win. Very good.
I'd buy that. Thank you for the 6 months of membership.
Oh, LA Noir, that's a great game.
Never
It's
played
just
it.
it's a funny game. It's a goofy game. That'd actually be a great game to play through on stream. Also, the what were they called? They just called gangster game? No, they're not called gangster. What are they? The Mafia. That's
Mafia.
the games. Mafia was a great series of games. Saints Row. You ever play Saints Row 3?
No.
I feel like you've been the type of guy who just gets really into the 1 or 2 games at a time.
Well, I've gone through a lot of the games that I did play as we were going through it for that hour or whatever, so you got an idea. And I did miss out on a lot of games that loads of other people seem to have played, and I don't know why. I don't know what happened in my life that was so different that I missed out on some of these games that everyone says, oh my god, you didn't play that when you were younger? And I don't understand. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just the games that I happened to get, or parents happened to buy me, whatever. I don't know.
I get that as well. I get tons of shit for not playing things like Pokemon and all that sort of stuff.
I did play some.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned Football Manager. I never played Football Manager, but I did play a couple of the. There was like a few years of my life I was into football, and I played FIFA, as well as playing it in real life. But
I played FIFA and I was always really bad at it. I worked in a call center like 4 or 5 years ago, and I used to play FIFA like 18 on my work break against my mate Campbell, and he was really good at FIFA.
oh
And
god,
he'd beat me at FIFA, and then would go back to doing call center work. And it was the most depressing shit.
I was
in the
alright at
fucking world.
FIFA. I think the main one I was at was FIFA 7, FIFA 07. That was the main one I was at, and then after that, I lost interest in football like a couple of years after, because it's at the end of the day, it's kicking a ball around. Fun to play, but to actually take part in as a fan and enjoy and get into and all the tactics, it's fucking pointless. It's just people kicking the ball around. Emperor Malgus, thanks for gifting a membership. Unfortunately, someone in the chat has mentioned, or 2 people in the chat have just mentioned a game that I guess I did spend some time in.
I've heard of this. I've heard about this.
This is League of Legends.
Yeah.
Spent some time playing that at the time of 2013-14. But I'm going to defend myself here, because it was real life friends who got me into League of Legends. And
Me too.
So I feel like if left to my own devices, like a true gamer, no friends, just playing in a basement like the stereotype, I wouldn't have played League of Legends if I'd been left to my own devices. But real life friends got me into it. And the worst part is, I lost those friends and continued playing it myself after. They got me into it, and I had to get myself out of it after like a year.
Exact same thing happened to me. Yeah. Yeah. No. League of Legends was a powerful thing back. Season 3, Season 2, the start of League of Legends was very, very good.
I played Season 3 and 4 mainly. 3,
yeah.
It was like, it was Season 3 in which I played it with my friends a lot, and then Season 4 and myself, like soloing ranked, which is just fucking never do that. That is the worst way to spend your life.
Yeah, I've done a lot of that. I've lost a lot of time to that, but I'm out free. No, I started at the end of Season 2, and then I stopped around the same time as you, Season 4, and then I came back to it in like 2016, 2017, and then I left it.
I never went back to it.
And I've been clean since, I'm proud to say. No, I used to go to only like 2 or 3 classes in high school. Don't do this, kids. Go to your classes. But I would go to legal studies and media studies, because those are the only 2 classes I liked. And I'd go
League studies.
Play League of Legends, yeah.
Now, the thing is, when I did play League of Legends with my real life friends, it was actually a blast. Like, we would play it, have a lot of fun, talk about it the next day in real life, in person. That was actually good. I consider that good times. I don't consider it good times playing it on my own, so there's, pros and cons. Playing it alone is shit. Playing it with friends is good. But you get into arguments sometimes about who stole your kill.
There was there's a lot of iconic moments playing with your mates, but there was also in high school there was a bit of a league hierarchy where you'd sort of get dissed if you had a bad rank. So that's what led to sort of no lifing, I think, in the end.
And to this day, the funniest part of my League of Legends career was that I named my League of Legends account after one of our teachers. And it was just his name, just Mr. and then the name. I can't say it because people might find it and or find the teacher and or the school and or this and that. But it was just one of the funniest things ever. My friends had try-hard League of Legends related names, so they were going around with that, and I was just, you know, the name of the teacher. But I was playing with them, and we were in the same team in that. And I was equally as good, sometimes better. We were mixed, but I was up there with them. Yeah, I was just... They had all their try-hard names linked together with a theme or something, and then I was just that, and it was fucking hilarious.
I was actually very lucky because I was stopped from a league relapse because a friend of mine asked to borrow my league account, which was Chucker of Pies.
Let's just say Mr. Chad for argument's sake.
Yeah, Mr. Chaddis Maximus. Now, my league account was Chucker of Pies because Piechucker was taken, unfortunately. And I lent it to a friend. I hadn't played League in years. I lent my account to my friend, and he got permanently banned. So I was like, oh, a bit of League would be fun. And then I went to log in, and it was permanently banned. So I was stopped from following down that dark path once more. Couldn't log in.
Wow. Sometimes getting banned from a game like that saves you. It's for your own good.
It does, absolutely.
I never got banned or punished that much. I wasn't particularly toxic, but
My friend
receiving
my friend got the account banned because he had mentioned because there's a lot of Chinese players on the Oceanian servers for all games.
Oh,
And so basically you'd mention things like Tiananmen Square or something like that, and then they'd leave the game. You know, they'd just have to leave the game, and then that's how you'd win. You know, because you'd be playing like a 5v4 situation because some poor Chinese bloke got him.
and that's how the Aussies and the New Zealanders dominate the Eastern Oceania servers.
That's how we fight back.
Oh no, we're losing. Use your ult. What, my ult? It's on cooldown. No, the other ult. Oh, and then they write the Tiananmen Square copy pasta in the chat.
Yeah.
Emperor Amalgus, thank you very much for the $15 super chat. I'd recommend Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2, but it goes for around $100. That would be a net loss then, because you just gave me the $15 super chat to get a $100 game. That would be a net loss of $85. No, I'm joking.
That took a long time. Yeah.
It's like that one game you played, Knights of Honor 2. Thanks for that. I don't know if you have any recommendations. I actually always say recommendations are Discord DMs, because I always forget what I hear on stream, like recommendation wise, but if someone sends me a Discord DM, I remember it and take note. So that's always there. Anyway.
There you go, I've DM'd you. The game that I've DM'd is Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Oh, well, there is that, and I've heard, yeah.
It's excellent. I've played like 50 hours of it. Seriously, it's really good. It's very, very good.
Yeah,
it's right in the audience as well. Like, you know, Czech history type stuff. Knights. That's such a good game. Exactly, it's such a good game.
Yeah, maybe one day.
That sounds like no. Be bold.
It's not.
Be bold
no.
with
It's
no.
genuinely not no, because it might be someday. But what else is coming up? What are people hyped for? What's coming up? Other than Up and Vic 2, which is the only thing to truly be hyped for.
Yeah. Wolf Among Us 2. I'm very excited for that. That's next.
You can't take the name of that game seriously after 2020, though.
Yeah, I never thought about
sorry,
that.
You just can't.
Among Us. Maybe
The Wolf Among Us? Among Us 2?
The Wolf.
Thank you, James. Thank you, James, for the $10 super chat. I assume Henry is a Kingdom Come Deliverance reference?
Henry is the main character from Kingdom Come, yeah. Oh, he's such a brilliant.
So people are saying Street Fighter Victoria 3 Ward. Of course. How could I ask what people are hyped for? It's right in front of us. It's Voice of the People. For Paradox's hit game Victoria 3. That is the only thing to be hyped for.
Tekken 8. I've got mates who are really into Tekken, and they've made their own, the arcade sticks.
Oh, wait, actually, someone reminds us, Verticalo, City Skylines 2. I'm moderately looking forward to that game. I'm not saying I'm looking forward to it, but I'm interested in City Skylines 2, actually.
I had my based SimCity 5 Supremacy spiel last time a month and a bit ago, when we did our last stream. SimCity 5 was excellent. I've never been able to get into Sea Skylines. It's a
Yeah,
very
we've
good
talked
game.
about this before, but you're one of those people who's on the Sim City side, whereas like
Yeah, I-
99% of people are on the City Skyline side.
Oh yeah, I actually completely acknowledge that I'm wrong. That's just how I feel.
I mean, what do? You know, I acknowledge I'm wrong about this opinion, but what can I do? I can't change it. That's the game I enjoy.
Exactly.
I feel like most Victoria 3 players must think that way, right? I know I'm wrong, but I enjoy it. No, they don't. I'm joking. So a lot of people do enjoy and genuinely like and enjoy Victoria 3. Nothing wrong with that.
Baldur's Gate 3.
Don't leave that as an upper side.
I've been. I was trying to remember a game. I've been trying. Have you ever played Dwarf Fortress? Because I've been thinking about buying that.
No.
Is anybody?
I'm sorry, it's another thing that everyone says, oh my god, you haven't played that. A game I have played.
I haven't played it.
I have played Space Station 13.
I haven't even heard of that.
Well,
Tell me
oh, it's actually,
Oh,
it's a
Rambo's.
game, I never played it that much. But what I did, basically, when I played Space Station 13, I went in and I saw what it was all about. I saw the absolute greatness of it, but I also saw how much you need to get into it and how it's deep, very complicated, and I didn't have, or don't have, the time. So I glimpsed the greatness of Space Station 13, but I just can't get into it. It's a game like that. It's very deep. Space Station 13, if you want to compare it to anything, compare it to Among Us. I don't know, it's like Among Us, right? Spacemen running around killing each other. But it's a game with special roles. It's designed for roleplay. Create a character. Special roles in a space station. All sorts of threats. All sorts of things. There's like an AI that controls the ship. There's captain. There's all sorts of different things. Different maps, different ships. And each of the roles are
I'm
all
looking at
deep.
this now.
They're all deep.
No, this looks good.
You can write things, you can write reports, you can write things that I remember, and you could do a little lot, or you could just play for fun, different servers. Yeah, absolutely fantastic thing, that. And it's an open source one as well, free open source game.
Three deep cuts, Spud. Payday 2.
Spud, you are going to have your mailbox filled with semen. Streamers, YouTubers should never mention it. What the fuck do you mean?
Fuck. Yeah.
SS13 is brilliant and terrible. Yeah, that's actually sort of, in a way, what I just said about it, because it's like, you understand the greatness of it, but then you see the dark side of it at the same time. It's strange.
I loved Payday 2 when I had friends. I'm the exact same. That game is miserable solo.
And one
You
of the
play Payday 2?
I played a Payday, yeah. I played some game of that, yeah. And one of the dark things about SS13 is, yeah, the community, the dark side.
Well, no, I don't know anything about this. So it sounds like this is forbidden knowledge about this.
There are some videos of it on YouTube, some decent videos and content about it. You can look it up and see some video and you'll probably get an idea of what it is. It's a game about experience, though. If you play it, you should always expect everything you know about the game to be gone in a year or two's time. Yeah, an open source game. Why are
When does
people
the
saying that?
community
What do you mean,
get
Phil McCracken? This is a common threat about Space Station 13 when people make videos about it. This stream isn't about it. I'm not making a video about it. We just mentioned it. It's fine.
This
Let's
seems
move
to
on.
be like let's move on. This seems to be like a dangerous territory. Company of Heroes 3, that game does look good. Looks like
I
a good
played
set.
Company Heroes 1 or 2, I can't remember. A while ago.
Probably 2. I played it at Company of Heroes 2 as well. That's a good game.
It's over then, I guess. I guess it's
I
happening.
think
I better check my mailbox. Wait, I'm going to go and look at my mailbox. Hold on. I'm just down to my mailbox. Oh my god, it's there! No, it's not. I'm joking. I managed to join the CK3 Game of Thrones game spot. I'll see you on Sunday. I'll see you on Sunday, Zeta. Good job. That's
so
good.
jealous. I'm actually genuinely so jealous.
Yeah, more of that'll happen though. Wait, you're so jealous about what happened to my letterbox?
Nah. No, I'm not jealous about what happened to your letterbox. Full of semen, says Otto. No, I'm talking about the CK3 game.
How did someone get
Yeah.
one off that quickly? From when I started talking about SS13, it's already there. Anyway,
Yuck, Frederick. That's yuck. Fuck, what's happened? What's the story of this game? What's it brought out of people?
I've told you my thoughts on the game, but I don't know what this other dark side is of it with this folklore here.
Oh, he did a video
Can someone
on it.
not
Okay.
explain?
Seth made a video on it, and that guy's a bit cuckoo.
Did he get
But he's cool.
something in his letterbox?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd rather be Ted Kaczynski than that. In terms of what comes in through my letterbox.
yeah, I think it's fair enough.
Oh, so there was okay, so this guy, a very big YouTuber, Seth, made a video about it, and he brought loads of people to the community, and you could argue maybe ruined servers or something. I can see how that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, imagine a massive new influx ruining. I did it to Victoria 2. Nah, I'm joking. I improved Victoria 2 community. I brought it back from the brink. No, but I can see it. I can see it. To a small, very small extent, it happened with Victoria 2. Because I guess a lot of the new people that came into Victoria 2 did annoy the old guard a little bit. It happens. But it's also necessary to bring new people in or else something dies.
Yeah, the game just does. Game's dead.
But yeah, I think I have already seen the Seth video on it, by the way. I think I did see it a while ago.
I watched the last video, Seth video, which was the War Thunder video, and that was very funny.
The funny thing about SS13 is there are servers you can't access without knowing they exist because they don't show up in the server directory. Well, that's good. Let people have private servers. That's a good thing. Let people have little communities and whatever. That's good. Don't make them all public.
When I first started editing the stream highlights, which was 2-3 years ago now, quite a while.
And he's still not done Napoleon's Legacy Final.
No, it's never happening, I don't think.
Oh.
But there's no audio. I just subtitle what happens. I'll narrate and then do an animation from Microsoft Paint for what happened. But no, I made that very first Napoleon's Legacy highlight, and I sent it to a mate of mine, and he said, "Oh, it's good, but you should make it like this." And then he sent me a Seth video. He's like, "Edit it like this," and I was like, "That's not even remotely feasible, or what the point of the thing is." That'd be like 100 hours work to try and edit it like a Seth video.
Do you want to edit the CK3 multiplayer Game of Thrones? I know it's probably not the right thing because you're so jealous. You said you were jealous about it. Now I'm asking you to edit it, but that's something like a collab with Dinostan that could be pretty good on my channel. And it's massive. I don't know if I have the time to edit it.
I like editing stuff with clear audio. I think it's brutal when you're like editing and I'm sure you know this better than anyone.
Yes.
When you're editing like a Victoria 2 game, and it's like people just constantly talking over each other because it's like, when am I cutting? You know, because it's like, I think that's probably why you really have to do subtitles a lot, because you just can't really pick up on what the jokes are like some of the times. You know,
yeah, I don't know.
Great stuff.
I don't know if the CK3 game is like that. I think it's all right, actually. I think the CK3 game was all right, and people talk clearly, generally. You can hear Dinostan a lot. I think it would be good. You can check it out. You watch some of it yourself. It's up to you.
How long was it? How long did you guys play for?
Only, the stream is nearly 5 hours long. We only got about, I would say, to be perfectly brutally honest, only about half of that time, if that, was gameplay. But I enjoyed the whole ride. I enjoyed the Discord, because what the game host did, there's so many players that he used the Discord stage feature, got all the players in and announced when the game's coming up and all that. And there's also, even in the lobby while I was waiting for the game to start, I was looking through the people's custom characters and seeing all the hilarious characters some people created. There was a Saul Goodman. There was a lot of good ones. So
you can make some mental stuff in there, yeah. Well, no, I'll have a look at it. Yeah.
Shall we wrap up the stream now? Because we've been going on for ages. And, well, that was a nice little general discussion podcast. I don't know about that minor little thing we saw with Victoria 3. Who cares? That happened as well.
Yeah, that happened. It's sort of an afterthought.
Don't pre-order the DLC, needless to say.
Yeah.
It's needless to say for my audience, but I think
don't pre-order anything.
Don't pre-order anything.
Like, would you pre-order a car? You know, no, you'd go test drive a car. You wouldn't. You steal a car. Yeah.
You wouldn't
exactly.
pre-order a car. You wouldn't pre-order a Victoria 3 DLC.
You wouldn't. Pre-ordering is stealing. Stealing is against the law.
I don't feel like I have to do the no pre-ordering. I don't feel like I have to say that to my community, because I genuinely do believe that my community, YouTube, is, you know, good consumers, mature and knowledgeable. I believe in my community, so I don't feel the need to go around saying don't pre-order all the time, because that's only going to my viewers and they know. So if I could just go to Reddit and fucking drill that into their dumb skulls, that's what you need to do.
Pre-ordering, actually, now that I think about it, pre-ordering is essentially you're an angel investor. You're like, I have no proof of concept. I don't know what this is going to be like, but here's some money. You know, hopefully I get my thing back. And then, like with angel investing, almost never. You know what I mean? It's like you wouldn't pre-order it, or like we wouldn't pre-order anything else. You wouldn't pre-order a house.
Yeah, you wouldn't pre-order a builder to come and do a work in your house.
Actually, I suppose
No.
building a house is pre-ordering.
No. Piechucker, don't even joke
I've
about
lost
pre-ordering houses. Getting a house is a scam in so many other ways than just mere pre-ordering. The whole
But
fucking
land.
mortgage interest is such a scam, it seems to me.
Yeah,
Renting
no,
is a
it's
scam
just-
too. Life is a scam, unfortunately, in the modern world.
Life
I'm
is-
sorry, but it's
Let's
true.
End on that.
Let's
Let's
end on
this,
that.
but-
Let's actually end
yeah.
on that, because life
Yeah.
is a scam. Your
Yeah.
bank is a scam. Your house is a scam. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm cynical. Okay, I'm
Yeah,
cynical.
you've pre-ordered everything, and you didn't even know.
I pre-order my life. I pre-order like my rent every month to survive for the next month in this place. Scam.
Can I just keep going? Yeah. Well, you guys are welcome. You've pre-ordered some fucking some dopamine from us.
You wouldn't pre-order food. Yeah, you say you wouldn't pre-order food, but if it became a thing, people would do it. People at a restaurant, the waiter would come up to you like, "Hey, you'd give your order. I'll have this, please." And the waiter would be like, "You know, if you pre-order this and pay now, we'll give you added onion rings."
Yeah.
Like, they'll do that, and it'll fucking work because people fucking fall for the scams. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
It
we'll
would
give
happen.
you some food. We'll give you some food maybe in 3 months, but here's the demo. It's a strawberry. Chinese pre-order houses exist. Isn't catering
Salad
literally
DLC.
pre-ordering food? Yeah, listen, don't think too much about what we're saying. It really falls apart upon any sort of
It's
inspection.
jokes. It's banter.
Yeah.
Building a house is a pre-order, yeah. But
Yeah, I said that before.
going into
It's
a
daft.
house, mortgages.
Yeah. Pre-order yourself 30 years of debt.
Wow.
Yeah. They're doing did you hear about this? Oh, hold up, we gotta stop talking about
One last point.
they're doing like parental transfer mortgages. So like you can do like 60-year mortgages and
No.
you'll take over from your parents. Yeah. They're doing like a
Generational mortgages.
sins of the father. debtors.
Talk about
fucking-
saddling your children with
Yeah.
debt.
yeah,
We already
exactly.
do that, and now this.
Yeah, seriously, I was reading about it the other day. They're actually thinking about doing that, and they're doing 40-year mortgages as well now.
Well, how do you get out of this?
How do we end on a?
How do
we
you?
end on
I
something
suppose
fun?
I don't know. Buy land, get your own natural resources, and build a house.
Yeah,
But then you still have to buy land, which is not in very high supply in the countries we live in.
no. I mean, there's actually they've freed up a bit. Yeah, take land. There we go.
Take
That's what
land,
it is.
now we're
Yeah,
talking.
Take land. What's that,
Pre-order land. If you're in the Netherlands, you can pre-order land. You know,
what's the
this-
Spartan thing?
no.
Milan Labe.
if you're in the Netherlands, you can pre-order land. You can go up to a company and be like, "This patch of water here, I'll pre-order that. That's my land." And
Yeah.
in 5 years, we promise to reclaim this bit of the ocean, and it'll be yours.
Mm. It's staggering that how much land they have, like massively under sea level. I feel like it's a ticking time bomb now. I have a 30-year mortgage. Could
Maybe.
have gone up to 40 where I live. There you go. I also have a 30-year mortgage. I co-own a
You
property.
do?
Yeah, I own.
How are you moving
20
around? So
I own it's my dad's, one of my dad's houses, so I own
Ah.
25%. It's just double rent. I don't even live in it. It's brutal.
Maybe
Still got
I
expectations
heard
of South Africa.
maybe land in Sudan will be nice and cheap soon.
Yes.
Maybe that'll be the
Sudanese
place to go.
land.
You know, everyone's moving away. It's going to turn into another war-ridden country. Maybe some cheap land there.
Aren't they blocking a dam or something? They're all, like, there's water wars going on.
Well,
right
there is
now.
some geopolitical stuff going on between Egypt
Yeah.
and Ethiopia over the Nile River and that, which is kind of fucked
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
How?
water wars.
I mean, imagine if Ethiopia just built a dam at the base, at the source of the Nile, or whatever country it is, and then they just cut off the entire Nile, and 100 million people die in Egypt. That's kind of fucked up if that happens.
Yeah, that's a good take. That's a good take to end it on. That's in my book.
That
That's
would be
not
fucked up.
That would be fucked
That's
up.
not right.
If we were in charge, we would not do that.
Yeah. Controversial takes here. Hot takes.
Hot takes.
It's not. I know
That's
it's
not
not.
really
It's
how
not how anything works. That's why this. What?
Excellent point, James. Thank you very much.
What did he
That's
say? That's not,
fantastic.
well, thanks. It's not really how dams work.
Yeah, no, he's.
I'll
nailed
tell
us
you
there.
what, though. What if we pre-ordered the dam?
Yeah, pre-order the dam. Pre-order the river.
Ethiopia on their way to massacre 100 million people just to get an extra 2% on their electricity grid from a dam.
Yeah. Most of our power's from dams. And they're quite cool looking, actually. They're all down south.
Also, down south on the South Island or south of the
Yeah.
North Island.
No, when you say down south, you always mean the South Island.
Right. Well, how do you refer to the south of the North Island?
The south of the North
I
Island.
just broke.
Wellington. You
I just
call it-
broke
you
New
just-
Zealand.
No, you didn't. You just call it Wellington because it's like a region. Like we're broken
Ah.
up into regions, provinces they're called. Like yeah, tons of different provinces. But yeah, I think it's like 80% of our power comes from windmills and dams and shit
Yeah.
from the South Island. Yeah,
Our power in Well, Scotland's known. We have wind. We have a lot of wind power, and that's not really helping my electricity bill. So cool, thanks. It's not really.
the
You know, it's going up so
Right.
much. You know.
there's so many windmills in Palmerston North where I grew up that the local rugby team is called the Manawatu Turbos, and the mascot's Turbo Man, which is like a cartoon guy, and he's got a massive propeller on his back, and he always drops in at the start of the game on a helicopter. Fantastic, so good, iconic mascot. Everyone, we'll leave it on that. Everyone, look up Turbo Man, Manawatu Turbos.
Wait, one last thing. Someone says fusion invention firing soon, like nuclear fusion. Is that if that's happening soon, should we invest in it? That'd be a good way. If fusion's happening soon, do you invest?
Yeah,
Get your stocks.
yeah. Get rid of my New Zealand money. as
Pre-order
well.
it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think it's probably a good time to. Yeah, here's my Piechucker financial advice. If you live in New Zealand, take on copious amounts of debt because money's just getting cheaper as time goes on.
I want to pre-order a fusion nuclear power plant. To get the
Sounds
pre-order
good.
bonus of not having Chernobyl happen.
Large Hadron Collider creating a black hole.
Oppenheimer DLC.
Yeah, when they blew up one of the first, I think when they blew up the atomic bomb in the atmosphere, I think they calculated like a 0.0 something chance of it igniting the entire atmosphere.
Well,
Yes.
okay.
James is telling us to piss off.
Yeah. Well,
He's telling us to sling our hook.
I did just get another super chat out of it for staying. I could have ended it when you said just now, Piechucker, or I could have stayed and got another super chat. I made my choice. I stayed, I invested, I pre-ordered that super chat.
Yeah, you pre-ordered it.
Thanks, James, again for the $10. It's very appreciated.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
He fell into the trap.
Yeah. Here's $10 to fuck off. Good man.
I'll pay you
Fair
$10
enough.
to fuck off.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
All right.
yeah, let's genuinely end it now.
Yes. All right, well, that was a lot of fun. I tell
It
you what,
was.
I really enjoyed the second half. But even the Victoria.
Oh,
Feast
no,
stuff was good-
the length
good
of
bit
it,
banter.
that was like the second 3/4, because the actual Paradox stream was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
it
great
was
bit as well, where I think immediately after that stream, you're like, oh yeah, we'll wrap it up soon, but we'll have a bit of an unwind.
That's what we always do. It never lasts this long, though.
No.
If
This
you
has been
remember
fun.
the previous one with the announcement stream, that was that one was over quickly because we were just strapped in, and got a fucking fever dream blasted at us, and then after that we were just so disoriented we didn't chat that long afterwards.
That was a fever dream. That's a good way of describing it.
We described it. I think it was you who first said it, maybe at the time.
Oh, there we go. That makes sense. It was it was a fucking weird thing to go through, and the fucking live audience. Don't even make me think
The
about
live
that. It's gonna give me
audience.
nightmares. Let's take it to the Paradox live studio.
I mean,
audience.
Piechucker,
They were cheering.
after they finished announcing City Skylines 2, the live audience ran down to the stage and they had a fucking
Dance party.
club, a dance, suddenly, with some dance music to
Like
celebrate.
Ellen, just dancing.
Like, what the fuck? Instead of, like, when an audience has an applause sign, they were like, dance. The dance buzzer went off and they went down and danced. Like, and I can't remember if the CEO, Frederick, was in that dance. I can't see him dancing, which is fine because I don't. But
he was. Actually, hold up, fever dream moment. He was in the dark on some of the wide shots because he didn't leave after he did what he didn't leave after.
Listen,
he
chat,
talked.
you need to go back and watch this.
Yeah, watch it. It's
stream,
fuck.
Us
It's fucked up.
live reacting to it. I think he came on for the first. So again, Frederick Wester came on for the first time. He did a bit of a speech or something, and then he went to the side, and he just stood there in the dark while some other people did some stuff, and then he came back later.
Wait, hold up. But you gotta really paint the scene. He's on a stage by himself in the dark, and you can just see him in the corner of the frame.
Or was he like still in his same space, and the stage went dark while they did a trailer on the screens or something, and he was still there?
He stood there in the dark, and then he came back. They just turned the light back on.
Yeah, like, come on, he's the CEO. He doesn't have to put himself through that. Surely he can decide how they do it.
Yeah. Just walk off, sit down, come back. It's like, it's nuts.
Yeah, mate, he's the boss. He doesn't have to subject himself to this.
He's a DLC character. That's fine. That's good. All right. You go back.
Now
and watch
we
that,
have to go.
Yeah, it's fucked up. Go back and watch it. It's terrible.
It was so funny to cover that.
Yeah,
but
it's like, you never know what you're gonna get.
You had to be
seriously. Anything could happen on a Paradox announcement.
That's why I call them the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, anything could happen. Like, not like, honestly.
Or in the case of this one, nothing could happen.
Yeah, nothing could happen. But next one, you
never know.
You never know what new heights. Feeding your boss, your vegetarian boss, cheese pizza.
Oh my god, that
Vegan
happened as
boss.
well. What the fuck?
Yeah, Ashkenazi incident.
Oh.
CEO hiding in the dark. Ellen dance party at the end.
And then going back all the way to the Victoria 3 announcement stream, fucking Ebba and all her shenanigans of actually being she was a better well-spoken presenter than current CEO, to be fair.
I'm contractually obligated to say that.
Nothing wrong with Fred Wester, by the way. He seems to be, even though he's the CEO overseeing Paradox going to shit, he seems all right himself, other than potential bad controversies, which might be bad if they're true.
I wouldn't be surprised if, and we'll end on this, I wouldn't be surprised if, take a drink every time we say that, by the way. If like they collect all of the recent Paradox streams and it turns out it's like some sort of Wes Anderson film. It's like some sort of art house film.
A psyop. It's a psyop.
Yeah, it's a psyop.
Right, after the stream, I'm going to go over to my big notice board and try and put the pieces together and figure out how this is a psyop.
Yeah. Gonna get the strings and the drawing pins.
I'm sure that live Chucker reaction has something to do with the recent firing of Tucker and his reaction. Something linked there. I'm sure of it. Even though I'm the one who gave you that name and told you to put that PFP on.
Yeah.
Paradox
Why
did
did you
this.
tell me that?
Paradox
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean? Oh,
voice of the people.
Okay. James Paul's going to pay you more money if we keep talking. Look,
are we going to get another one? Are we going to get another super chat just before I go here?
Oh,
Pre-order the super
James,
chat.
James, yeah, we're pre-ordering the super chat, and if we're not going to get the super chat, we're staying on for another hour.
Yeah, we could. We easily could.
Yeah,
Except
easily.
that I need to go for a walk. I'm getting a bit fucking sick of sitting here. That's the only problem.
Yeah, and it's 3:00 in the morning. I've nearly been up for 24 hours.
We actually are pretty much about exactly 12 hours apart because it's like 3 for me.
Yeah, it's
20
actually
to 4.
ideal. I used to play League of Legends with a friend because
Here we go again. Look, here we go.
They used to
Oh,
$5. I see. He said 10 though.
he's about to start talking about League of Legends, and then we get the $5 to fuck off. Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
You know what? Forget your League of Legends anecdote. He told you. He told us. Let's stop.
He's let me know. You guys will never know.
No
There's
League of
actually
Legends.
my
Oh my!
story
Oh
ever.
no!
No way.
No, this is a joke. This
No
isn't real.
way.
He's got a special super sticker for $1 that makes it look like $100. Surely it's not real.
It's it's New Zealand dollars.
It's New Zealand. Oh, it's actually 50p. It's 50p. It's 100 Hungarian huff, 25 pence.
Argentinian pesos.
I remember some of this currencies I've had. I've had the Indonesian one as well. It was like fucking 40,000 Indonesian currency. I'm like, holy shit! And it's like £1.
Yes, $1.
No offense to them or anything. Love that country.
No, I
but-
had the opposite thing happen when I'd get the pounds for when you'd pay me for the video editing. I'd be like £14, and then it'd be like that's $37, and I'd be like, it'd be like big number. It's just like wow, Spud's money's worth real money. It's like New Zealand dollars.
The alert for the previous one just came through. Thank you, Frederick, anyway, for your $5 super chat. And now we just need the alert for this one.
Yeah.
Now we hope you feel
Yeah, now you have to
better
buy
about
that game
this,
that you were on about
because
earlier.
it
There you
does
go.
things
Now,
for
you know what, James? I'm going to help you out there. I don't feel bad about it at all. I feel pretty good about it, actually.
Yeah. Thank you, James Paul.
Genuinely,
Great,
thank you
great.
so much.
Great name as well. 2 first names. James Paul.
Isn't that like
John
Jake Paul?
Paul.
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul? I went John
Pope
Paul.
John Paul.
I went with the Pope.
Pope James
Yeah.
Paul.
Pope.
$100 straight out of the Vatican Bank. He just gave his middle name as well. He's fully doxed. He just gave his middle name there as well. He's doxed himself fully.
Just saying shit now.
My middle name is David.
Just said. There's Dave. Wait, James, David,
And then
Paul.
there's a 3. No, they are 3 biblical names as well, right?
Yeah.
James, David, Paul. Like 3 fucking
Yeah.
apostles.
Apostates, yeah.
No, I
Paul.
think that's something else.
Yeah, I think so. Paul's one of the apostles, I think. David's king of Israel, and then I don't know what James is.
James.
I got expelled from Catholic school. I think I've told you about that before.
Yeah,
I've probably
we've.
seen that on stream.
That's been an open TTD classic story.
Yeah, got expelled.
Okay, now I think we somehow. Why is it so hard to actually end this stream? It's not the super chats. Like I
It's
genuinely.
the chemistry.
It's the chemistry.
It's the chemistry, you know.
Yeah, it's the chemistry, but it's like one of those chemical bonds that you can't separate, right?
No.
You just can't fucking end this stream.
You just can't do it.
It's not the super chats, and I know it's
It's
easy
not,
to
yeah.
say that,
Yeah.
but this whole thing of me and Piechucker being unable to end this happened before the super chat started coming in because of it. Remember,
I think it's because we don't because the open TDD we have some good banter there, but you don't get a chance just to really get into the banter. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, it's been a little while since we've had a proper chat.
I'm actually editing some open TTD game we did, the one where we were on the New Zealand map, and there is some great banter on that. There's some absolute. Well, it's not like a long chat worth of banter, but it is some moments of banter.
I love watching the open TDD videos because I'm always so tired when I'm playing them that I don't remember anything I've said. So I laugh and I'm like, man, this guy's funny because I don't remember any of the jokes.
Wait,
I
that's
told him.
me.
Like, yeah, this guy's got a great sense of humor.
What a guy! You like slap your thigh. What a guy!
Yeah, you're saying
Give
the
another
type
banger.
of shit I'd find funny.
This guy's got my sense of humor.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I like the cut of his jib. Okay, he's literally me. Like all the Patrick Bateman shit, he's literally me. Like
He's
Ryan
definitely-
Gosling This guy is literally me. And then the joke is, he actually is you, because it's you.
Yeah.
All right, now we end it.
Weird.
I think my music stopped anyway. All right. Thank you, Piechucker, for I'm gonna give you some of the super chat money here because there's a lot, and we'll arrange something. Thank you very much for being on to co-host it again.
Thank you very much.
We had a fun time. We analyzed
it was a
Paradox.
blast. Yeah. No, when I tell you what, when you said Paradox stream, I was like, oh, and then it was like, there's always going to be some.
Actually, I tell you what actually worries me. If we were to try and do some live chatting, just a chatting stream, and I know we're talking again, but this is very relevant. My fear is that if we were to try and do a chatting stream, we would end up forcing it, and then we wouldn't be able to have the banter that we've just had for an hour because it would be too forced. Is that a concern?
I think it's only a concern if we tried to like what people were saying before. You guys should make a gaming podcast. I think it would have to be just a stream of consciousness thing.
Yes. Yeah.
And we'd have to be strict because we don't want to talk for 3 hours. We talk for like an hour.
Issue.
You know? Just bits and pieces, things that you find interesting at the moment.
Yeah.
Because that's where the best. I think the best jokes that we have is when you say something where you're like, "Oh, you hear about this?" And it's like, "No, never heard about it before," and vice versa. I think that's where our best banter comes from. It's like, "Oh, Spud, you must know about this." No, I've never heard about that before.
Yeah, that happens a lot. Right.
Yeah, it just ships in the night all the time.
Thank you all so much for the super chats and the viewership, and thank you, Toshka, so much for the €5 super chat we just got now. Your punishment for pre-ordering Vic 3. You pre-ordered it? Get out of here. No, we're all getting out of here. Stream's done. Thanks, Piechucker. Thanks, Paradox, for giving us a reason to stream and talk about anything other than Paradox. They're doing stuff with Vic 3. Check that out if you're interested. But just don't pre-order their DLC. You can buy it if you want, if you think it's good, it gets good reviews, whatever. I don't think it's going to be much. It's not what I need in the game. But yeah, bye. See you later. I'm actually ending it. Right. Bye. Bye. I need to end it here. Okay, bye, chat. Bye. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.